everybody. Hey, and welcome. We're here with the fundraising action for Car4ukraine.com, just so you know it works both ways. So far, we've got some of us here. We'll probably have some more of us soon. And let's see who's here now, because as others join, we can intro them and we can keep moving on. Remember, pinned at the top of our live chat and in the description as well is the direct link to the fundraiser page, so you can help contribute, and like it says, maybe we can get some trucks under the Christmas tree. Wouldn't that be awesome? So let's turn to the fundraiser organizers themselves first, shall we? We've got Claire from Car4Ukraine. Welcome back. How's it going?
Very good, thanks, Dick.
The numbers are working out really well with the combined team. It's not bad so far, is it?
Well, I mean, it's actually a really, really productive group, apart from being absolutely entertaining to work with. This group, this group has really taken a life of its own. And thanks to ATP, we're doing brilliantly. Some of the others, not so much. But I think the whole thing about this team effect is it's about information, awareness, fundraising. There's more goals here than just the trucks, right? So yes, the trucks are our primary goal, but we've got people like Philip, who's, you know, the master journalist, been at this for years. He's fully 100% a superstar at that. But as far as fundraising, he's on his trainer wheels. So we're giving him a little push around the block.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Something about old dogs and new tricks.
Yeah, me too.
But you journalists also have an aversion to this because of that impartial in the middle and all of this,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Traditionally, this would be very much frowned upon, but yeah, I've struck out on my own, so I can do what I want.
Yeah, good on you.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's very exciting how we're going. We're over halfway there for the total, the group total. Thrilling.
Very much indeed. I love it. I love it. And Claire's partner in crime here. I'm just kidding. But we've got Ivan, or if you're listening, you can come in and correct this in 3, 2, 1. No, I'm just kidding. But Ivan, how you doing?
Good. Hello, Dick. Thank you for having us, and thank you for organizing that again.
Oh, great to have you around again. And let's hope we can get some numbers up for sure. But and like we just mentioned, you all know Phil Ittner, journalist and friend of the channel here. Great to have you back again, Phil, to hang out with us and, you know, chew some fat, as they say. Why do we say that? That is stupid.
Well, it must be something historical.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
as with most of these kinds of things, yeah, I'm sure it comes from some tradition that was done in the 19th century or something.
Yeah. Yeah, mega Floridians and something or other. I'm not even sure anymore. And of course, we've got Slavie here always. How you doing, Slavie?
Hey, I'm doing good.
All
Thanks.
right. All right. Her channel, Yurichenko, right? So we'll get the link in. Make sure you're over subscribing. Where should we all start? Let's see. We could do an update on fundraiser stuff. As everybody in the chat has already pointed out, ATP has been nailing it. Andrew Mercado's been kicking ass as well. Andrew should probably be joining us on this show sometime in the very near future here, which could be really interesting. I hope he does.
I hope so.
Yeah. Let's see here.
So I think this week it was a big kind of step up, getting close to Christmas, and possibly also because Ivan shared spectacular photographs of some damaged vehicles, and a lot of the people in this Christmas tree group have shared that online or on their streams, and I think that had a fairly large impact. I notice I've got an awful lot of followers that I wasn't expecting, and I'm a pretty tiny operator here. But based on those, you know, those photos were very dramatic about cars that were completely smashed up, or, you know, the one car where there was just shrapnel holes in.
Yeah, that one there. Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
door.
maybe if I start choking, I'm gonna be on the screen. You'll see that, and
Yeah.
then you see the
And-
door is like totally fine
Yeah, inside the door.
from the inside, but outside is a bunch of shrapnels. And actually, it has the anti-drone system, and that didn't really save the truck. What it was saved with, is just old good metal. Just piece of metal that stopped another piece of metal.
And if Ivan
Straightforward.
if you can just show that photo, just point out where that head protector is for the driver, because there's one in the front and a bigger one in the back, the driver needing to see more. But you can see there's a black section on the picture of the car window, and
Yeah,
that
you can
is
see that
metal,
over here.
metal on the window. So
Yeah.
if the driver knows he's under attack by drones, he can push back into his headrest, and that will protect him from the side. And in this case, the window, I think, is broken, isn't it? Yeah, the glass is
Yeah, I
gone.
mean, it's smashed. It's just
But the
glass is
guy's
gone.
head and neck have been saved by that, what looks like a very thin piece of metal, but it's actually really set in the right position to protect the person's head and neck, which is fairly good. You know, it's a testimony to the value of just coming down to basics with these things, and how a grassroots group can communicate with the guys on the front and find out what they need and what they want, and then respond to that very quickly and provide. It took a long time working out where to put these bits of metal.
Oh, I bet.
And, you know, at first they put them all over the place and the cars couldn't move. And so then they had to start taking metal away and get it into the most vital spots. But you do that by feedback, right?
Mhm.
You work that out by trial and error and feedback. And in this case, it's very telling.
I think there was actually a story from some pilots in World War II when they were flying on a mission, and then they would come back with some bullet holes. And then engineers would analyze where the bullet holes were on the planes. And we're like, okay, that's the places we need to install armor. But then another engineer was like, actually, those planes are coming back because the parts that were damaged actually are not that vital. That's why they came back. So what we need to reinforce is actually the places where we don't see bullet holes.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's
because they
actually
never do
smart.
that.
Yes, because they never come
Well,
by. Because if they get hit over
then
there,
I remember rolling into Baghdad in 2003, and they had gone through the desert with Humvees that were with canvas doors so that you could take them off. That was the whole idea. And then, of course, once we got into Baghdad itself, and the insurgency started, they started putting like sandbags and stuff, not metal, but sandbags attached to the fabric of the doors. So, and then there was a whole period where they went through what they used to call like road warrior, engineering, where they just took sheet metal and, soldered it on. So those guys went into Iraq with Humvees that were not up armored, and for a while there they had to take care of it themselves until the U.S. military got their act together.
There was a very telling story. We got Andrew.
Hey.
Andrew might remember that. I don't know. Were you deployed? Were you deployed to Iraq, Andrew?
Southern Iraq, not into combat though. We just had to pull equipment out.
Do you remember? Oh, yeah, that's right. You were a logistics guy, so you were in the Hemis. You were in the big truck. Do you remember the guys that used to roll around in Iraq at the very beginning, like 2003, like OIF-1 with canvas doors?
Yeah, they had soft tops, nothing.
Oh, soft
no
tops.
armor.
No armor at all. So they had to do it themselves. Putting sandbags in or welding metal on. I was just telling the guys about how crazy that was.
Yeah, it was a lot of DIY, dude.
Yeah. A lot of road warrior stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Glad you could make it, Andrew. Glad you could make it.
Of course.
I was saying in the beginning of the show where, you know, we're going to be really happy to have Andrew dropping in today because he's the kind of guy that will really get the work done on a fundraiser without enforcing himself into your life too much.
And I'm glad to be here, though, you guys. I really am. This is an amazing stream every week, or you do it. This is every week, right? You have this Saturday. Yeah, it's amazing.
We've got a thing. I got to talk to you after the show, Andrew, because there's a little couple of changes coming up around here and a few little things and whatnot, and participation and solid booking, and we got to chat. We gotta have a little chatter, but give an update on your side of this fundraiser, Andrew, because it's working out okay for you, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going well. Shout out to Bill from Alberta. Shout out our big Canadian audience. Dropped a quick 10,000 euro on the first truck and got it taken care of. So now we're working on our second one, and I believe we're like over halfway complete with for the overall fundraiser towards the second truck now. So it's awesome, and I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. Fun working in a team, hey, Andrew?
Yes, it is. It's super awesome. Especially it's cool that so many of us are. It's like one big fundraiser, but we get to have a little friendly competition between ourselves. You know how. And ATP Geopolitics out here has done 3 trucks already. Jonathan.
I know.
They have such a great stream too over there at ATP Geopolitics and Jonathan Fink. Like I was a guest on there, and I was like, that was coffee for me because they were just like the conversations they're having are like so deep and like.
My particular parenting situation caused me to miss a Friday morning stream with Jonathan Fink over there, and but soon we'll figure something out and make it up because again the conversation I really want to. That looks fun. You know, very much so.
Very much, yeah. It's a great time, and I love it over there.
Cool. So,
Dick, if you go over to the Jonathan show, put on your thinking cap because they are going deeply intellectual about the whole thing there. And when Philip's on board, and the stream with Andrew, I thought was particularly poignant because Andrew got very personal about his life, and and the other 2 guys were just like, oh, how are we going to handle this? And it's just something really special they've got going on at the moment. It's pretty cool.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, like philosophical stuff. I told you that I didn't even have coffee, but I just like entered their conversation and it just didn't stop. And then an hour and a half went by, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I guess we were talking for an hour and a half. I couldn't even tell.
Yeah. I love those moments where you look at the clock and you realize, well, we actually have to end. We don't really have a choice here. Like, feels good.
Absolutely. Well, how is everybody doing? I didn't mean to interrupt your guys' conversation. I'm glad to be here.
Just getting started.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. How you doing, Phil? How's your reporting in Ukraine going?
Good. We're doing the weekly show now, and then I'm doing my other broadcasts that I do with various radio and other podcasters. So I haven't, that takes up a lot of my time from like midweek until Sunday. Takes up a lot of my time. Although I did get on with Jonathan, with JP and JF a couple of times this week. So we put out the message there a couple of times, but as you know, this isn't my forte. I'm trying to. The fundraising thing is new to me, and it does, like, Wednesday to Sunday I'm consumed with producing the show. But Monday, Tuesday, kind of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are my free days. So I'll see if I can get some more stuff out. But we're producing the show for this week. We have Kaylin Robertson on this week, who's been down in Kherson.
Yep.
Spending a lot of time talking about drones. So that's fingers crossed. If we get it published by our deadline tomorrow at 8 p.m. Kiev time, we'll get that out on the air. And then, of course, the big disruptor this week was yesterday's attack here in Kiev. I mean, we're getting pummeled all around the country. But we really got hit hard yesterday morning. It was pretty intense. A lot of incoming, a lot of anti-air going up for a better part of an hour. And these things were coming in, hot and heavy. And it was incredibly loud. I think it was the Kinjal that did it, because those things fly at hypersonic speeds. So when it hit, it was really heard around the city. And it got hit in the downtown area as well, which, there's nothing strategic there. There's no military asset anywhere near anything that they hit. My concern is that they're prepping for an Oreshnik attack, the hypersonic multi-warhead, the MIRV that they've got. And if they do that, they're going to hit all up and down Krishchatyk, which is kind of where I live. So we're all kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. He is not. They're not going to let us have a quiet holiday. The Christmas and the New Year's season this year, I strongly fear, is going to be like the New Year's Eve of 22 into 23. 23 into 24, for some reason, they didn't do anything. Nothing substantial, at least not here.
If I remember, Commander McMillan, logistics expert, had said that was somewhat a logistics issue that they didn't. But I'd have to go back and pick his brain.
Last year, 2023 and 24. Yeah, I think that's right, because they had been conducting a really intense, but over a period of time, they build up their missile stockpile, and then they launch an assault, and then they build it back up, and then they launch an assault. They may have, run out of missiles that particular time during the New Year's period, but 22 into 23 was very intense.
Yeah.
And if you and for those in the audience who don't maybe know this so much, but New Year's Eve is like the big holiday in this part of the world. It especially here in Ukraine, Christmas is a religious holiday. People go to church. It is not about Santa Claus or Christmas presents, although Ukraine is kind of trying to make an effort to transition to that. But it's because the Soviets were so determined to take religion out of things but they knew that they couldn't get rid of certain things like presents and the Yule tree and their Santa Claus, which is Father Frost, and the Snow Maiden. They melded it into New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. So the reason I'm giving you that context is because I think that's when they're going to hit us hard. I think New Year's Eve this year, 31 into 1, that overnight period into the new year, I have every anticipation they're going to hit hard.
Have you seen the actual crater? I think last time you said you've seen the crater from the Oreshnik.
From the Oreshnik. Well, we have that was the only Oreshnik that I'm aware of that they fired into Ukraine was down in Dnipro.
Yeah.
So I didn't physically see it, but here it's not far from me, and yeah, it was right out inside St. Nicholas's church. Don't quote me on that. The Catholic Church. The main Catholic church in Kiev. It was right outside of that, and in between that and a business center. And yeah, I mean it's substantial. But then 7 o'clock in the morning, the actual air raid siren. So it wasn't normally I get it on my phone. I'll get the alert on my phone. But we physically had alarms going off, and whenever that kind of happens in the center of the city, this is not something to be taken lightly. So I barricaded myself in my hard point. I've got a hard point in my apartment. Mm-hmm. where it's three of the four corners are concrete. So I feel I can that's a safer place. And if things do get really, really intense, I'm on the 4th floor, so I can basically run down to the shelter real quick. But I will tell you, when the air raid siren started blaring out at like 6:45, and then at 7:01, we had our first impact or something hit, and it was just anti-air constantly, and it was just, it's that intense boom, 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 of the anti-air, which we're glad to have, but it's really disconcerting, obviously. And then the fact, again, that they were hitting in the center of town like that. And I've been hit by a Kinjal before. I was in Odessa. I don't know if folks remember, but there was a time when the Ukrainians took out an oil platform off the coast of Odessa. And in response, they fired a Kinjal at us. And these hypersonic missiles are unlike anything I've ever experienced. I've been, a couple of, clicks away from B-52 airstrikes. I've had indirect fire from artillery. I've been shot at more than a few times. These things are completely different. And it's hard for me to describe it, because it's in a normal explosion, it's about kinetic energy, the heat and the kinetic energy. When these things hit, it's almost like a sonic boom. It's very weird, like a sonic vibration that moves through the city, and it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before. And frankly, it's terrifying. So we here in Kiev are, we're kind of holding our breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But what can you do? We can't evacuate the city.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I just hope that you stay safe, Phil. I mean, you do everything you can. I mean, your experience at this point, it's you just gotta trust what you know. Yep, exactly.
It's like, and it is interesting, because I go down to my, my local market here, and I'll go and I'll buy my homemade pickles and my craft beer and my fresh produce and things like that. And, I'll talk to them on a daily basis and be like, what are you thinking? What are you worried about? And the general atmosphere is, they're going to do what they're going to do, and we're just going to have to live how we live. And that's, it's not bravado. It is basically like, some things are beyond our control. And obviously we go down into the shelter and, we take precautions, but the Russians are going to do what the Russians are going to do. And that's the attitude here. It's nobody's excited about it. Nobody's thrilled about it.
Right.
Nobody's like, bring it on. We're not afraid. It's more like, the religious amongst them.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And
What-
the religious amongst them are like, it's in God's hands. And those who are, not so religious are literally like, it is what it is. It will be what it will be.
You can't stop living,
No.
right?
Yeah, it's like a resilience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. A couple of shout outs I can do here. So I will jump in. There was an aborted show yesterday, and Demetrius Ziganovas had sent in a cool one. It was a $12 direct donation. You've got the best intro ever, Shills, right? And the reason is there's a brief image of the Lithuanian flag in the 42 show intro on our channel. And Demetrius is a big fan. He's from Kaunas, Lithuania. So huge shout there. Thank you. We also had Thomas Sweeten in the chat. So people, aren't we supposed to be donating here? Merry Christmas, Thomas Sweden. That was a $30 direct donation that goes right to the fund afterwards. Thank you. Thank you. There is a Ko-Fi donation here. Merry Christmas. Give it to the good cause. And that's Doggy throwing $10 into the fund. Thank you. Thank you. I'll get it caught up here in just a second. And we've got Fragden Shizzo became a new member around here, so thank you for that. Petra Olsen came in with 130 Swedish kroners with love to Ukraine, and with much love it shall be sent. Thank you, Petra. And Dunk on You's gifting out 5 Shills memberships. So
Hey, let's go, Dunk.
yeah, awesome. Any creator will tell you the gifted memberships is a way to tug at a creator's heart. Oh, yes, for sure. And there's also been a good €140 or something thrown into the fund. I can do this and show you. I actually have to do that. But see, it's 1935 or so. So we're getting there. I'm trying to keep the running total up on the screen, but every time I move the website, it screws it up. So we'll just leave it right that and continue on. Anybody want to take the reins and tell us something cool?
Well, before we completely lose the conversation into joyous Christmas stuff, we were kind of talking about armoring before some of you came on board, and how at the very grassroots level, how Car4ukraine can communicate with the soldiers at the front and find out actually what they need in the way of protection. And Ivan's amazing photographs of this week. And before you came on board, Andrew, we showed the photograph of the car that had been hit by the drone on the side with all the shrapnel. But then there's the other vehicle that is almost completely demolished. I don't know if you can get that up on your phone, Ivan, the little video. And I found that quite extraordinary because the car's been attacked on multiple points, and it just looks like the doors are shredded. And I looked at that and thought, well, I don't know why Ivan's showing us that photograph, because clearly no one could survive that, right? Look at the front window, look at the engine, look at the doors, there's nothing left. But it turns out, and then Ivan, if you can bring up your little photograph showing where the armor actually is with your schematic over it, it turns out that the armor is still there despite all the rest of it, and everybody survived. And I just find that so motivating to keep doing what we're doing, that we've been able to make such a difference to these the soldiers that were in these vehicles. I mean, those are a seriously intense graphical representation of the success one can have in doing this properly. It's awesome. It's unbelievable. So before Andrew came on board, we were talking about that little narrow piece.
Yes, by the window.
Head on the side. And it looks like it's too narrow to really save you. But in both those situations, this side piece protected the head of the driver. The other thing I find interesting about interesting about this set of photographs is clearly at the beginning of the war, the Russians weren't so aware that in British cars, the driver sits on the right-hand side of the vehicle. But clearly in these two instances, they're targeting the right-hand side of the vehicle. So they almost know that with some of these vehicles, the driver's got to be on the right. And that's what they've aimed for very specifically with these two stories. And I just find it interesting, the application of, because Car4ukraine's mostly buying vehicles in the UK, right? And the reason for that is the cheaper market than the EU. So the cars in UK are almost half the price of the EU cars. So we can move 2 cars for every one from the EU. But the downside for some people was that the seating was on the right. But I just think, I can adjust to driving. In Australia, we drive on the right-hand side of the vehicle. And if I go to the US or EU, I have to drive on the left-hand side of the vehicle. And if I can do it, they can do it. I mean,
Yeah.
the soldiers going to adjust, right? And it goes to show that the Russians have figured it out where you are.
It does.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, but for the average person, right-hand dominated, it does keep your right side if you need to do any sort of, is that a factor at all, I wonder? I mean, to me, I thought right-hand drive, I got my right hand closest to the window in case, even if it's just like a revolver, defensive position or something, right? Left hand just be a little more awkward to me. But I have no idea. I'm just, top of my head, right?
Maybe that's why the side is called right. The other one is wrong.
Well, I think all these things go back to when you were on your horse or in your carriage and you needed access to your sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the right-hand side, sorry.
That's probably where it comes from, right? But one thing I actually have to add, it has some relation to metal that Claire mentioned, but
is it like Motorhead or like? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It has some relation to exactly to the fundraiser that we started. I just received some samples of the pins that we give to the people who donated. I think it's €100 or more. And I received the whole collection, so I can see them, I can feel them. I already give them feedback. So we really take it serious, and we don't want to just do it, right? We want to make it really good. Something you will keep for the rest of your life and remember that fundraiser. And the first one is, since the Shills is fundraising for a pickup truck that will have a machine gun on it, you gonna have this.
Oh, cool pin.
Well, they're getting more than a machine gun. They're getting rockets, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, we're not gonna make all sort of variations of those things.
I get the
we
pin.
make trucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing that represents that each of your donation actually is an investment into our defense and into sometimes offense to sort of deal with that offense from that side. So those things they contribute into dealing with the cause of whatever problems we might have from Russians, not with the effect. And we totally support people who decide to donate for non-violent things, for for kids, for orphanages.
Yes,
I have no problem with that. But that was the thing, right? I asked Dick, are we gonna go with a non-lethal or lethal campaign? And he's like, oh man, let's go, boom, boom.
Yes. Same ATP. Like Jonathan Pierce went, I used to support non-lethal humanitarian causes, and now he talks about, now I'm here to fight the war.
Yeah.
Hard to have compassion for those guys who are still in uniform, in Russian uniforms, carrying weapons on Ukrainian soil. So
yeah,
impossible.
Yeah, screw them.
Yeah.
But there's one. Oh yeah, sorry, Phil.
Well, no, I just wanted to follow up on something because again, I just finished today this interview with Kaylin Robertson, who is fixated on drones, and I think it's worth noting that there now more than ever, what we really need to be doing with these vehicles is doing up armor, because on the picture you show of the vehicle that got hit, you can see that there's a jammer on the vehicle. Well, unfortunately, increasingly, we're finding that the Russians are doing a couple of things. They're being more sophisticated with their frequencies, so jammers aren't as effective as they used to be. Not ineffectual, but they're not as effectual as they used to be. But what's really an increasing problem is that they're starting to fly fiber optic drones with a very thin, with a canister on top of the drone that spools out behind it, very, very thin fiber optic wires connected directly to the operator. So it can't be jammed.
That's right.
These things cannot be jammed. These fiber optic drones cannot be jammed. So
No,
now
they're on
more
a
than
private
ever,
network of one. There's nothing you can do.
That's right. Yeah, it's a direct remote control. So you can't jam them. So now more than ever, what we need to be doing is getting these guys up armor vehicles. Because if they can't jam these drones anymore, they need to be protected. So that's the way to do it. More than jammers, it's armor.
I think it's both. I have a little bit of
It is
insight.
both, but yeah.
We had some experiments 2 weeks ago. Apart from Car4ukraine, I'm also sort of dealing with a project where we work on software development for FPV drones to have autonomous finish, let's call it. Autonomous landing, let's call it this way. So an FPV drone, if it is jammed, it will finish off what it was flying for. And we're working on this algorithm that the drone can sort of lock the target and fly into that by itself. And 2 weeks ago, we were on a polygon with an actual jammer, because we in theory knew a lot of things, and we were like, okay, so we tested a lot of different variations, and now let's turn on the jammer and actually do the job. Like we had a real Russian Tigr, like Russian Tiger armored personal carrier on that polygon, and we were trying to hit that thing with a drone. We were like, okay, let's destroy a couple of drones. And we destroyed a couple of drones that we didn't hit the target because jammers were more powerful than we thought. And if, I would say jammer is an additional obstacle that you have to be careful about. For example, a lot of FPV drones operators, they know how to fly when you are jammed, but if you don't know how to fly when you're jammed, you'll destroy that drone. For example, if you hold the sticks in a certain position and then the jammer starts sort of down in the signal, then a lot of default settings that drones have is that they'll just continue the way the last stick was held.
Right.
But the problem is that when you start losing connection, unexperienced operators, they might try to sort of move it to the left, to the right, to up and down, and that's what kills it. They just put it in the position like that and it just goes down. And that's what happened with one of our drones. It's because the operator was actually first time dealing with a jammer.
Right.
So I see that the trend I see that we talk to soldiers and asking for the feedback also is that all of the cars will have jammers and all of the drones will have autonomous finishing. And a lot of drones will also have fiber optics attached to it.
Right.
It's more like it's a technological battle that we have with Russia. Who is doing what faster?
Yeah.
And we were first using drones, but they were I think they were first using the fiber optics. And as it sounded dumb, but it works. It's simple as that. And actually, a couple of units that are in this Trucks Under Christmas Tree campaign, we are raising for pickup truck, and they are drone operators. And because the whole idea of Trucks Under Christmas Tree is the unity, we're trying to help different things. We also have this thing that you can also get as an alternative for the pickup truck.
That's awesome.
I think that we call it the innovator. That one was the fighter, obviously. This one is the innovator because it is a sign of our fight. It is a sign that we've been creative and we invent things. And I think Ukrainians were the first who started using FPV drones in the way how they used massively now. Mm-hmm. So that is a thing that you will keep for the rest of your life, that will remind you about the fundraiser and about ingenuity of some of our people.
So
Go ahead, Andrew. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, speaking of this fundraiser, I joined a little late, but for my chat and everybody, Claire and Ivan, could you just talk about what inspired you to start this fundraiser? And also, Claire, just reintroduce yourself again, because you had organized all of us together to start this big fundraiser. So, and if you already did, I apologize, but we joined a little late here. So.
No, we haven't talked about that.
Perfect.
I'm like the den mother, I think, aren't I? One of the other moderators says it's like herding cats, herding YouTube influencers, and there's a degree of that. But so I'm just volunteering to support Ivan with crowdfunding, and this followed on from driving in a convoy with my family, 3 trucks to Ukraine in April, May, and so we had this idea that we could maybe get some fundraising for Christmas, and maybe some of the small channels would come on board. And we've got a long relationship with Sukumimus, who's been supporting us for 6 months or more. And so we knew that he would do something, right? So then we started asking him, how much, what do you think your capacity is? Because he's got 4 or 5 fundraisers going at any one time as well. And he said one truck. I think I can get 1 truck. And then we asked somebody else, and they said 1 truck. And Ivan, and then the third one said, well, 1 truck. And then Ivan said, oh my God, how am I going to run all these single truck fundraisers? This is like, I can't do this on my website. And I said, well, we're going to have to join them together. And he was like, oh, no, they're not, these are superstars in their own right. They can't be asked to combine and share the limelight. And I said, sure they can. They'll have a wonderful time. It'll be like a party group. And so we came up with the model for making the trucks under the Christmas tree and make it a multiple group effort. And then once we did that, that kind of took on a life of its own, and people brought in their friends. And Dick, you brought in a few people, and it was just like it took on a life of its own. And then it became really like super time consuming, but super rewarding and so much fun because of all the different personalities and how they work. And we set up this group on WhatsApp so everybody could talk and find the central place. But as you can imagine, Dick does all the talking on this site. So everybody else relies on Claire to relay any vital information back to them individually to get them on board. Like I sent a message to some of the others just previously, and I think Jonathan Fink's going to join us soon. And because he doesn't watch the Christmas tree chat group because there's too much chit chat on it. So he goes to the, waits for me to relay something. So that's what. And then Ivan, got the task of finding the units that we were going to support and working out which was the most vital and urgent need, and then putting together the videos and all the technology, the donor box things. And it's kind of been a joy to work with, hasn't it, Ivan?
Yeah, one of the things that Andrew asked, the motivation, or like the thing where the idea came from. And the thing is, we receive a flow of requests for cars all the time. Like one day it can be silent, maybe 1-2 requests. Some days, if we make some like post becomes really popular on social media, we can get 40 requests. But we really satisfy those requests slowly because we mostly rely on donated vehicles. That's, I would say, a little unique feature about how we do things is that we allow people to buy a truck and bring it by themselves without us, doing pretty much anything. They want to look for the truck, they want to find one, they want to refit it, they want to go on a travel and bring it. But that thing have some sort of, it's not super fast. It's like a couple trucks a week, and we're like, how can we boost it? How can we, help a bunch of soldiers under the Christmas tree? Like, how can we give them something? And that's where this sort of all started to having this snowball effect. We have a pretty big campaign with the Ukraine Matters that Georgie, who is the host of the of the show, he said like, let's fundraise. And Claire was like, how many you think you want to go with? Like 2, 3? He's like 25.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he launched it. That's a pretty ambitious goal, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's going to be good. We already deployed 1 truck. And for a little teaser for this Trucks Under Christmas Tree, we're going to have the first truck this Monday. So watch out for some updates.
Cool.
On our social media, and I'm sure we're going to send it to you so you can also share.
Yeah.
Who is that going to be? You will see, you will find out what purpose the truck will serve. You will all like it. But yeah, let's leave it until Monday.
Yeah. As I like to say, may the good Lord take a lack into yet another orc and blow him up real soon.
Yeah. So I think on Ivan's point is that the list of need, the urgency of need is really intense, and to try to get more trucks to the front to save more lives is what this fundraiser is about. So please give if you can. But the story that had a big impact on me and kind of explained to me how vital trucks can be was one of the soldiers relayed a story that his unit were attacked and his buddy had a chest wound and there was no truck available to evacuate this guy. If he had got to the triage station to medical support, he would have been given oxygen, he would have had his chest drained, he would have had the shrapnel removed, he would have lived to see the next day and fight again. But in his case, there was no truck available. So there was no way they could carry him 30 kilometers to the triage station. So he just died with his friends watching him, and it was a slow death. And it's just, it really had an impact on me that we've got to get more trucks there, right? We've just got to do it. So it just takes money. The American government doesn't provide these sort of trucks. The EU is not providing these sort of trucks. This is a crowd-funded activity that saves lives at the front during this horrendous war.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
well, it's the golden hour.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, I'm sure you're familiar with this as well. I mean, it's if you can get a person with an injury, with a wound, to a triage center within, they used to say an hour. Actually, it's much less than that now. But regardless, if you can get the soldier to aid, there's a good chance that they will survive. And that's one of the most important things that we can be doing for Ukrainian armed forces. I mean, there's a reason why the soldiers love the Bradley, for example. I know this isn't about trucks perhaps, but there's a through line here in the sense of survivability is essential for the Ukrainian armed forces. Look, we have a manpower problem when it comes to Ukrainian armed forces. So we got to keep these guys alive to fight another day. They're willing to do it. It's not like, it's not a hard sell, but a Bradley is beloved by the Ukrainians because they can take a real beating and survive it. So if we can help in such a way that these guys live, they become more veteran soldiers, they become more experienced and better on the battlefield, but also in the disparity between sheer numbers, it's really important that aside from just the moral righteousness of keeping Ukrainian soldiers who are fighting for, the West, basically, and carrying that burden themselves. But if we can keep them alive to get them back in the fight as well, it's an even greater advantage. So survivability is the name of the game. And that's what these trucks do.
Huge. Shout out here, super chat in from Tim's, and a big one too. Am I looking at 50 pounds? Yeah, I'm really need to get my eyes done and get glasses. Slavie, Ukraine. Hiram Slava, buddy. Thanks, Tim's. Into the fund it goes. We've got a little buffer in the Shills PayPal account. So the super chats that come in today, and unless it gets completely out of hand, I should be able to cover and send them today and just collect it afterwards, right? You know, I'll do a little shuffle there. But if it gets to be too much, I'm happy to deal with the make it too much. It's totally fine. Totally fine. There was a question in from Janine Terblanche, mercenary moderator herself there. She couldn't be in to watch the show today. She's going to be around a little bit later and rewatch it when she's free. But for Claire and Ivan here, she was wondering, how does somebody new get on your radar for a truck, especially if it's for like an individual unit request or something? What's the procedure here?
I think I can answer this one. First and foremost, we mostly help individual soldiers because there is there are some restrictions. If you bring the truck and you put it as a military owned or military managed truck, then soldiers become less flexible. They sort of rely on the government to supply parts and to put fuel in it, and maybe it's a little counterintuitive, but it's easier for soldiers to manage it all by themselves. They just spend their their money that they earn as a salary by fighting to buy parts or to fuel it up, maybe with diesel a little easier, but they mostly service themselves because when an individual is responsible for the truck, it's normally better taken care of. With regards to how someone new can come, most of the people we help, it's not recurring units, even though it's a little easier because we already know them and we better understand their need. If someone new comes in, it's a little harder to break through just because there's so many. So I would say send us an email to go to Car4ukraine.com and you'll see the contact us form. Or just send an email to info@Car4ukraine.com. And maybe it sounds a little weird, but sell your story. Like, what is the unit? What do you guys do? Because then it's easier for Andrew to sell the story. Why we should help these guys? Because whatever, they're desperate, or maybe because they are in a very hot spot, or maybe because they're super efficient. Whatever it is, just share. If you just send us contact details and we need a truck, here's the contact details, the chance is lower that we will contact you because it's easier to choose when you have something very certain versus we need a truck. So yeah, I think that's all. But we are totally open to exploring and helping you and new people, especially with this campaign. That we launched, Trucks on the Christmas Tree. If you go to the main page, main donor box page, you'll see a bunch of videos from different soldiers that we managed to collect, I think within a couple of days. They all send us these videos. But once we it's a weird situation where we had more YouTubers and bloggers and influencers willing to fundraise money for than we had videos from the soldiers. They I'm ready to start. Give me, who do I raise money for?
Yeah.
I'm I requested a video and they're at war. A little bit of time issue here. We gotta wait.
Around our channel, half the time we don't even bother with the who, what, where, when, and why. Our viewers just know that we make sure we know who we're working with, and as such, let's just simply get it done. I mean, we must have done 4 fundraisers before somebody finally said, don't you ever get videos from the people? I was like, oh, I was just kind of watching them myself. Do you guys want to see that? Yeah, I didn't, yeah.
You are so lazy.
I know.
And it's so amazing. Really quick, Dick, if you don't mind, I would like to give a big shout out to my community and the fundraiser, because the number is going up since we started this fundraiser stream. I'm seeing 48 donations, and now we're at 12,198 euro. So thank you to those. contributing to the Mercado campaign, which also goes into the larger
stuff.
campaign of everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got a perfect community for this, Andrew. That's great.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, look at this.
Snuck in there. I just seen it.
All right. Well, welcome, Jonathan. I'm glad you made it.
I'm just dropping in. I thought I'd see what was going on. How long have you guys been at this?
Coming up on an hour, so we've got a good hour left. There's no real time limits today going on around here. Let me get you on the show even better, but we're close
I've
here.
got my wrapping, my presents. That's what I've done too. So
Cool. So, life's treating you okay? It seems that fundraising is a grand endeavor of meets and greets around Christmas time, and everybody's enjoying this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So the question we had before, Jonathan, was one to Ivan about how do people get in the list to get a car?
Yes.
And then we were talking about these videos that we provide to you guys to present. And Dick Dawson's too lazy to bother showing his video, but the rest of you have been very good at showing your videos. And I had a question to you about, it strikes me that everybody's doing these videos now. They're all over the place for all the different units. And is this starting to lose its immediacy because they're all starting to look too familiar? And have you had any feedback from your communities with regard to the request videos? Because they're very genuine and they're very heartfully meant from the soldiers, and it's quite hard for them to do those things. But I can see that if we overexpose that format, that will lose its impact. So do you have any feedback from your communities about the request videos and any ideas of what else would have the similar effect? Andrew, you start.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if it was to Jonathan first or not, so I was going to wait. Yeah, they love it. That for my community, they love it. We get the thank you videos afterwards too, and also again the appeal videos. But it all adds to the transparency of it. Because when we first started fundraising back in 2023, because it was like 2022, we started on YouTube only to the YouTube Give, but we were like, yeah, how much is Ukraine really getting from that? Because YouTube Give is trusted and you get the money to the nonprofit, but YouTube is definitely taking a piece and the nonprofit CEO is getting some, and then who knows how much Ukraine is actually getting in the very end of it. So then obviously it started with NAFO at first with the 69th Stiffing Brigade and trucks through them. And that's kind of like where I first started seeing these appeal videos and like, oh, there's soldiers out there. And then also I'm sure it's the same with Car4ukraine where the soldiers come and they grab the truck and then they go off with it right to the front. And then it's just such a transparent process, like from the person sending the money or they get to see who they're sending it to, then they send it, and then they get a thank you afterwards from the people getting the truck. And then also people like Philip Ittner's in Kyiv or Rick the Ukrainian, or when I get to go there, do content and show like, hey, what's happening, or like the trucks are getting there exactly. And it's a pretty transparent process that my community's appreciated for sure. So I don't think it's getting tiring, at least from my perspective. And we stream it every day, and I show the same thank you videos in the intro every day, and nobody gets tired of it. At least on my community, I'm not seeing that. So I do think that it's still effective. I still think that it's important for transparency, and it gives power to people that are donating, and they know that their money is getting to where it needs to go.
Yeah, that's great.
You ever get that feeling you're being told?
Can I just do a little sort of commentary here, because we've got Jonathan wrapping Christmas gifts in front of our face as we have a deep and meaningful conversation about people dying at the front.
I'm on a deadline,
Jonathan, you realize some of the family might catch the stream after and actually see what's going on here. You could be giving up the gag here, right?
Yeah, at least show us. Yeah. Come on,
I can guarantee that's not going to happen.
So, Jonathan and Philip, you're more newbies at this fundraising. Have you had any feedback with regard to the request videos? Do people like them?
I think the video went down really well. I didn't see any negative comments there, at least not any sort of negative comments from the organic audience, the real audience. I think I can certainly, post more of those. I put community posts on every day, and I see the donations dropping off a little bit the last couple of days. So I think that sort of community post is great, but that can certainly get tired because it's fairly, two-dimensional. I mean, from my perspective, other formats and swapping the formats are always going to keep things sort of fresh. And one of the things we could do is, this is very difficult for the guys obviously at the front. One of the things we could do is do sort of slightly longer interviews with Ivan, for instance. Talk about the vehicles, and maybe do a video from one of the workshops, or intersperse footage from the workshop with an interview.
Very effective.
I've interviewed guys at the front as well, so I have the dubious advice. Now, this is the tricky one, isn't it? Because there's not that many people who might want to do this, but I have interviewed people who are at the front or near the front, those who are willing to be interviewed in Russian, or where we could get some to translate into, from Ukrainian, and get the subtitles on there. So that if it's still possible, we can try this too.
Yeah. We could do it from the workshop, I think, maybe that could be a little different format. In the meantime, when we were talking about the videos, we have a chat with the people who build those rocket launcher in like those installation, and I just got this video. I don't think it was published anywhere. If you could put it on the full screen. When Dick's audience is asking, what do we raise money for? That's what you raise money for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hashtag boom boom, baby.
So that unit fired off 4 rockets so far. So it's a 4-tube 5th rocket. So it's a 5-tube.
No, it's just on the loop.
Keep putting it in. Right.
And what kind of weapon would that be? What caliber? Is it old Soviet stock, or is that Western?
Actually, I can talk about that a little bit if you want to know a little bit more for the technicalities of that. So before signing up to do that, right, we want to know, is it actually efficient, or it's just a nice picture that looks amazing on the internet and everyone is like, oh yeah, cool, but what's in it? Because I mean, it's a cool picture, but if we sign up for it and we commit helping them more often, we want to know the technicalities of it. And we had this trip to their workshop that is a lot closer to the front line than Lviv. And we talked through details. And there are several elements in what they do. One, they have a good mobile pickup truck that is a lot I would say faster and dynamic than old Soviet systems, whatever it was. 2 is that they actually use the tubes from the Grad system, and a lot of rockets that are installed there, they are from this Grad system. However, if you learn a little bit more about the tactical usage of different weapons, the Grad is not something you shoot into the trench or you destroy like some small target. Grad is the thing that you when you fire it, the whole purpose of Grad is to cover some square, as they call it. That's what Russians normally do, right? They just burn, I don't know, like 100 or like 1,000 square meters, like 1 hectare of land. They just burn it all. And for that, they needed Grad because it has like 40 or 50 of those rockets, and they randomly hit in different places. However, these guys, they understand who installed those systems. They understand that we have an issue of ammunition, and we cannot use the ammunition the way it was designed in 1970s or 80s. So they redesigned it, and they improved precision. And they only use 3 or 4 pieces because that's enough to hit the target. It's not too many, so the car can be operated again and again. And with those rockets that they use, they call it pencils because it looks like a pencil. They're like,
Right.
oh, that's where we carry our pencils. And they can fly either 20 or 40 kilometers away. It's like artillery. It's a weird thing to call it artillery, but it is artillery. But it's a very mobile artillery that is made in a workshop in Ukraine. And it costs, I think that refitting that they install, like they turn a pickup truck into the rocket launcher, they pay on top 150,000 hryvnia. That's like less than $4,000.
Oh,
They turn a pickup truck into a rocket launcher. We don't raise money for that. They do it ourselves. We only supply them with
technical work. Yep.
So that technical work, the tubes.
Can you show that, Dick? Show
Yeah.
the workshop. So, oh God, it's all reflective for me. Is that visible for you?
Oh, yeah.
The interesting
how
thing
they
is in
install
this
it.
workshop, they take the back right off the vehicle and then super reinforce the back of the vehicle to carry the weight of the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ah.
And going back to what you had said,
and I'm sure the back blast as well.
Mm.
yeah,
Because those things when they launch, it's not just there's a back blast,
Sure.
so you need.
So they get out of here. They use sort of remote
Yes.
system to launch it, and they go like 10, 20 meters away.
But it'll also destroy the back of the truck if you don't arm.
Oh, yeah. It must be one plate.
Those things.
Yeah. You know?
There is
Those
some
things.
so it actually comes. They start targeting. There's like two little legs or whatever you call it, so that it sort of makes a good push against land.
Stabilizers?
Yeah, like stabilizers. And besides that, there's one important element that, like, you have tubes, you have the pencils, the rockets, you have the truck, but the thing you're missing is all this precision targeting system. And that's a very expensive part that I didn't include in that $4,000. And that's the thing you can't always buy. And in fact, there are some soldiers who went into Russian positions, found Russian Grad system, took that piece away, and came back and installed it on one of our pickup trucks.
Wow.
The dude really, he's like a unique person. Crazy guy. He literally went to Russians, took that little piece he was missing because he couldn't use that pickup truck with the rocket launcher, and installed it on that rocket launcher. But if they don't do that, you can sort of buy them, but that's a very important piece. It's not easy to source.
So these guys make that themselves now, don't they, Ivan?
No, I don't think it's a little bit. I think it's more difficult than just building that whole system is also quite complicated. We don't do it, right? Because it requires some engineering knowledge, pretty good ones. So because just think of it, like if you do a couple of millimeters left or right on a scale of 40 kilometers, that rocket will just go a whole different direction. So they make it very precise. And one of the guys who is designing it, he's actually 20-something, I think 21 or 22 years old. He's a student in for engineering, and that's what he engineers now.
Wow.
It's a nice group, and he's doing it with his father. And I mean, I was excited about what they do, and they are all farmers. They have farming community. And then when I said that, I go online on YouTube with people from Canada and US and, and we raise money for that, they're like, oh, we just talk to farmers in local community and they pay for something.
Right.
Like, okay, sounds like a good collaboration. So since then, we signed up for helping them at least with 2 trucks every month. So we can have those 2 rocket launchers every month.
Cool.
But we might have more. We'll see. We'll see how people like it.
Awesome. Hey, giving direct feedback about your question too, Claire, about the videos. I got one directly from Eleanor from Facebook here. Yes, it is important to see where the money is going and how it is helpful. We all want to know whatever we can do is helping. For most of this time, I felt like I can't do anything until these donations to the truck started coming. So it's probably one of the best, most transparent ways that we've seen.
Let me ask all the viewers a question here. Along with putting the requests and thank you messages and so on, the videos on the live streams, would the viewers also want to see them as separate upload videos in case you missed the live stream? No matter what, the notification's going to give you the video itself. You know,
Comment in the chat.
Yeah, please comment in the chat. And if you're watching after the show, leave a comment in the comment section. Right?
Yeah, cool.
Because I just, no idea, right? Yeah.
Well, the ones that we did with Jonathan, MS, and Phil on twice last week, we had Andrew on, we had Georgis Ivanos as well. It's fantastic people on. But, those streams would get about 300 to 500 views in the live segment. They're now up to 2,500 to 3,000.
Yeah.
And what we see is they still have an impact. So, you get around sort of, maybe a third of the donations when you're on air, but because that video is still then watched in the recorded state, the donations still sort of dribble in as that video is still being served by the YouTube algorithm. So yeah definitely.
Yeah, my every time we do a fundraising live stream, for the next 48 hours or so, at least, if not more, my Apple Watch will be beeping about PayPal donations and stuff. And, so every day or so at the end of the day, I look, total it up, send it off, put it in the funds,
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, they are growing. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get some of those Apple hearts on the screen. It's not a service. It's not the service we're using in chat. This is my Apple computer that does that. But our little fund is at a little over 2,000 euro now. Huge thanks, everybody. And over here, I can give you the grand total in just a momento. We've got 91,000 and a little bit euros in the fund. That's a big number. Thanks, everybody. Huge thanks. Here.
Huge number.
That's amazing. It's really taken a jump.
Yeah. There was somebody in the chat asking, Martin UK, can you bring up the webpage to show the progress on each stream's fundraising individually? I was kind of taking a look in the background. I can't even figure out how to find if there even exists on the page. I don't know. I'll figure it out though. But that's why I brought up the grand total at least, right? I'm trying.
It's really easy for people to do if they go to the main link. Oh, they're looking through your donor box, are they, Dick?
That's where I started from. Yeah, and I'm just not sure where else to go.
Right. So if you go to Car4ukraine website and go to the trucks under the Christmas tree.
Okay.
That leads you to the master donor box and gives you the total for the whole group. And then if you scroll to the bottom of that, it will give you all the little individual icons and the leaderboard. But if you ask it in blue, it says open all our fundraisers. And then you open and you can see where everybody's at.
There we go.
Okay.
So it's on the master on the website and then right down the bottom.
Right, we got it up over here.
Bottom. Okay.
And then you can see everybody and what they're doing. It's pretty interesting. I mean, this is such an interesting group because has anybody done a fundraiser with War Translator before? It was so exciting to bring him in. I mean, he's only on X, right? He doesn't even have a YouTube. He's just one of the master communicators from the beginning of the war. And look at him. He's almost at the end of his second truck.
Yeah, he's doing great. Dimitri's a great dude.
Oh, he's fabulous.
Okay. I've almost got this. Just a second.
He's done a few. He's done a few of the NAFO ones, and that's because we've all been so comfortable with the NAFO fundraiser because it's the trucks and it's the drone jammers and the up armored. So this is, and people have been in chat. It's been asking me to fundraise for Cars for Ukraine for a while, but it's not that I didn't want to. It's just that when I'm locked into something that I know is guaranteed, and I don't. It's no question, because I've seen on X so many times people are doing like personal fundraisers and they're doing what they can, but they're not being transparent about it, or like they're not providing receipts for it, and it just creates drama and no. So I know so when I have a lane, I guess I like that lane, and I'm really glad that Cars for Ukraine is also can fit within that lane of transparency and trust, and I'm glad that we're all a part of this.
Yeah. Here, I can show the page. Look,
Hey.
see?
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, my community has been asking me for a long time to how can I help and whatnot. So this is actually, while I'm still, figuring out how to do it, because this is not my forte. It has, at least I know, been welcomed by my audience. Because they've been looking for something like this for a while, so it's great that it came to me. Yeah, because there's a lot of obviously, and I'm not telling those of you who have long experience doing this. There's a lot of skepticism about where is my money going, and am I going to be taken for a ride? Is the money going to actually go to where it's supposed to go? So. Yeah, gaining the trust of your audience, and then converting that to actual donations. It's been welcomed, at least by the.
I think if you come in, like you're in Kiev, but in case you come in either to some Poland or west, like to the west part of Ukraine, you're welcome in Lviv. You could also make some photos or videos from the shop that we have in Lviv. So then you could also generate some content. Maybe if you just want to come for a day.
I was I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I'd love to come out to. I'm always happy to come out to Lviv. But in addition to that, I mean, I was going to do it yesterday, and then our neighbors decided to wake me and disturb my entire biorhythm and all the rest of it. But I am determined to go up to the tree outside of St. Sofievsky, and I've even joked with my audience to a certain amount that since I look like Santa Claus already, that if they donate, I promise I'll put on a red Santa hat.
Yeah.
But I am gonna go up to the tree, up at St. Sofievsky, and use that as kind of a prop for a quick little, short 60-second something like that. We'll see if that helps out. I don't know.
Excellent idea.
I gotta get the episode edited, but aside from that, that's a major priority. There you go.
There you go, Phil.
That's right. I've got one somewhere. So I'll even put on a Santa hat and go to a physical tree.
Awesome.
It's a beautiful tree this year, the blue one.
I've seen pictures. I haven't been to it yet. Yeah.
I agree.
So on this issue of transparency and accountability, my background is so different to yours, but I have spent 20 years in international aid, and the three things are for international aid giving really successfully, because there's a lot of unsuccessful international aid projects, right, where money's just squandered or lost in the central government or something like that. So the three things are: go grassroots, where you avoid government trickle-down effect and loss of funds in that process. You go for somebody you can work with for accountability and transparency. And Car4Ukraine for me hit all these markers when I got to know Ivan. I've got to know Ivan over the 3 years, but it's only this year that I've come into being really super active with it. But it just hit all the marks of successful international fund giving and avoiding corruption and avoiding any sort of excessive fee. My background's more in conservation, but a lot of people obviously give millions and millions of dollars to WWF, which is a fantastic organization and very successful on the ground, but something like 80% of their fundraising goes to supporting their big buildings in Washington and New York and paying staff and all their fundraising campaigns. Well, you know, you really need volunteers to be doing that in this context. And that's what Ivan and his team do, and what all you guys are doing, in effect. You know, you're the legs of this
Suddenly
fundraiser.
realize it's good we don't have a building in Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want that.
Well,
It costs-
Well, yeah, you know, in all seriousness, I mean, I've covered over a dozen wars, and this is always a problem.
Mm.
Is getting a reliable supply chain, as it were, a through line to, you know, from those who are contributing to the actual end result. I've seen it corrupted so many times I can't even tell you. I mean, it's just, I mean, you know, local warlords or whatever it is, you know, it's a very serious problem. So again, establishing a reliable, you know, and reputable, something that I can present to my audience so that I'm not going to lose their faith. And they know that ultimately it's going to go to a place where it's going to be useful. It's trust. It's trust, you know, and that's not something so easily built. But I mean, again, maybe from my perspective of having seen the abuse in the past, to know how important it is to give reassurance to those who are giving money. So, you know, absolutely, I'm betting the videos of thank yous and the video and the nuts and bolts are going to be absolutely essential, because, you know, there's a lot of money flying around in wars, and so it can be abused.
Is it possible, Dick, that you share in the chat the link to Claire's video that people can watch? It's about her 70th anniversary when she actually came to Ukraine, and Forces News, that's the name of the media, that was mainly covering, I think, British soldiers overseas. I think that's how Forces News was built. But then somehow we got in touch with them, and they wanted to make an episode about us. And then I'm like, wait a moment, there's actually an Australian lady coming to London to celebrate her 70th anniversary by buying several trucks and coming to Ukraine. You want to include that? He was like, oh, yeah, let's do that.
So I got inserted, which is why I'm Claire the inserter as well.
She got inserted. It's a really nice episode.
There's nothing wrong with all that.
Yeah.
And it also gives some backstory. And there's also something interesting about Claire's father. If you want to find out more, check that video later.
We will. There's a chat for this Vimeo Ninja app we're using for the voice chat. If the link can be dropped there, I can make sure it's all handled and everything else from our side here.
I think I send it.
All right.
Can you confirm you see it? Because I don't.
Yeah, got it. All right.
Good.
So here, I'll drop the link in the live chat just quickly, and then the moderator team will actually like put a title on it so you know what the hell you're clicking. But that's it. You'll see it. It's right. It's one of here. I don't know. Whatever.
One of, I would say, high quality piece where actual journalists got into that. They sort of explored who we are, what we do, and they tried to tell a story. And that's an interesting one. We have several of those. We have Sky News, and we had one with Newsweek, and some others, but they were older. This is a relatively fresh one, and that's how Claire got involved, actually. And so she came physically here and had some nice steak in Lviv.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
Mons Pierce.
Watch out, Jonathan. Jonathan Fink's going on a convoy. He's going to drive a 3-wheel vehicle because he's not a very good fundraiser. But watch out when you get to Lviv.
You guys are using the Reliant Robin as punishment?
No, he put that up. He offered that as an enticement.
I was thinking, you know, if we could graphic one of those up, that would probably raise a hell of a lot of funds. You know, I mean, that
You're
would
not
get on the
wrong.
news, right? Reliant Robin goes to Ukraine.
Oh.
NAFO it up, make it look badass.
Listen, Brandon
Tell you
Mitchell
what.
made us eat surstrumming for Ukraine, so
Oh man, I remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
Gross. How did it go?
it was rough. Oh, I couldn't hold it in. There's a video, like we did a video and everything. It's rough.
I almost
but
couldn't watch the video. I
Yeah.
can't imagine being there, Andrew.
It was pain. It was pain actually.
Well, watch out,
Don't recommend.
Jonathan.
If we get a
Jonathan, because when you get to
if we get
Lviv,
a,
Ivan's
if we
going
get a
to take you
decent pickup,
to
we could
local
strap
restaurant.
her. Well, that's right.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
tried some out last year. As long as it's the partisan one, I'm quite happy to go there, or Georgian,
Good one. Yeah.
But if we get a really
some people-
sturdy truck, we could strap a Reliant Robin to the top of the truck. We can actually bring one with us.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would get a lot
But
of.
somebody
like
did a
Mr.
fundraiser which worked really well,
Need to-
and they offered to do a Ukrainian dance, and only after they got up to a certain amount, then they would publish themselves doing a Ukrainian dance, it worked really well. Looked silly, but
That'd be cool though.
yeah.
That used to be my pub trick, at university, was do a hopack on top of the bar tables, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm way beyond that now. That would cause me serious injury.
Slavie, is it the traditional dance?
So for
with
the Americans,
Yeah.
this is the Reliant Robin. I don't know if you can see, but it's only got one wheel at the front, so it's
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to fall over on corners.
Go, Jonathan. That's you. Jonathan to the front line.
We're gonna bring one. It's the challenge. It's the bit that's gonna get on the news. You got to find a different
You have
angle.
to dress
Jonathan,
dress
that
up
would
like
that would raise a
Bellboy.
lot of money. He's not wrong. That would be epic. I think that would draw some
get it?
attention.
You have to dress up like Del Boy.
Literally.
But we've got Candy joining us.
Yes.
Can we get the ghost of Candy there briefly?
Yeah, we did. I am just fixing him up so he's on the show here. We can hear you already, Canty. That part's fine.
Okay, I just didn't want to interrupt while you guys were
Yeah, no
talking about
worries.
other stuff.
We were just having a joke at Jonathan's expense.
Well, sorry for being late. I'll just say that to start with.
No worries. No worries. Let me get you all set here. I am having quite the issue in the background. So you guys continue. I'll just be a second.
Jonathan, I'm wondering whether you're not kind of channeling Mr. Bean a bit here.
I can dress as Mr. Bean if that gets the donations up.
Yes, exactly. Are you reverse streaming, Jonathan, or not? Are you streaming to your
No,
channel
not.
at the moment or not? Okay,
No.
because I can see Andrew is. He's got lots of stuff going on in his world.
Oh yeah, I figured just to get more people involved and more people in on this. And plus I stream around this time anyway, so we'll be
cool.
covering the news afterwards, everyone. this is a great round table and discussion, and I love being a part of these.
Yeah, there's something fun about a big group at times instead of it's funny too, because sometimes it's like herding cats and other times you just let it evolve on its own. It's an interesting thing for sure. I love it. So yeah, Canty, you're in proper, should be good. How's things?
Well, it's going good, but I was watching the stream before I joined, so I was a little bit up to date on everything that you guys are talking about. Mercado was mentioning the stir strumming video he did before. So kind of in honor of his stir strumming challenge, I'm doing a horseradish challenge for this fundraiser.
Oh wow.
I know I was I'm a small channel here, so I figured I needed a bit of a gimmick. So
Are you gonna down that horseradish right now?
not right now, but once my fundraiser reaches 1,000, I got the spoon ready.
It's the spice.
boy.
It's so Korean,
So,
Ukraine.
one
It's
food for
very, very
the whole house.
Yeah. Hey, well, more power to you, buddy, on that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hope it works out. one
What
way or
maybe
the
you
other.
what maybe you should have done is gone with some hrenovik, which is horseradish infused vodka. That might have been the best. A little bit
Funny.
of
Later.
Well, I'm a bit of a hobby farmer, so this is horseradish from my garden. So it's
Oh, wow.
it ties in some of
That's
my other
impressive.
content
Oh,
with,
homemade then. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm getting close to the first spoonful. Doing a spoonful for every 1,000 up to the 9,000, and then the 10,000 if we get the full car, the rest of the jar.
Ow.
Wow.
Put it on a sandwich. Pretend it's Arby's.
Hello, all you chuckle fucks.
Hey, how's it going?
Dick Dawson said you were having fun, so I thought I'd come and stop that.
Andrew, do you recognize that
Oh,
that
that's
background?
my cozy little millionaire mansion.
Yeah.
Nice little, just down the basement here.
You have a bathroom modeled after
Yep.
Catherine.
The boys were out, and I thought I'd just sneak in when they're away. So
Perfect. Just make sure you got permission from their mom.
yeah, mum's quite happy.
Amazing.
There. Sorry, everybody. One sec here, though. The link for Claire there, it pops up as this video isn't available anymore.
Yeah, I'll get you a proper link. I'll find it. I'm smart. If I don't find a proper link.
I have it in front of me, but something is wrong when I put it in the system. Something breaks it. If I send it to you, Dick, in WhatsApp, can you copy
Sure.
it from there?
Yeah.
There you go. That works in WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
I see some
amazing?
comments and I'm trying to fix something, but it doesn't work.
We'll.
Or if you just go to YouTube and you just type in 70-year-old drives to donate 4x4.
Unfortunately
You'll
for
find
this journalist, the important thing was that I was so old. And there's a strong focus on why does somebody of your age want to do this and stuff like that, which is pretty uninteresting to most people. But it was a novelty for him to sell the video. And
But the question is, are
It
you a
goes
grandma?
through-
If you're a grandma, they'd love to stop that one in the article as well.
yes, they do. They do. They the video goes through the trip. So receiving the cars from the team in UK, the trip itself, which was all from my phone on the dashboard, and then into meeting up with Ivan and going to the workshop. And then there's some backstory on me and my military history, not mine, but my father's military history. So that was the focus of the journalist perspective for forces people in UK. Yeah, it was an interesting experience to do it. I mean, the trip, meeting Ivan, but also doing the filming and stuff like that, because he said, put your phone on landscape mode, and I had to say to my sons, what's landscape mode?
Oh, thank you so
I don't
much
have
for
this
saying
button.
that too. Thank you
Landscape
so
mode.
much. Oh,
What he's talking about.
I have a
Why is
real
reality
dislike.
never
Overrated.
enough? Why do they have to spice it up? You got to be old, you got to be this, you got to be a swinger, you got to be something else. Reality is never quite enough.
An ageist feminist world.
Yeah.
Sorry, misogynistic world.
Yeah. You're not wrong though. We do our little comedy news show.
Well,
a
I
few
heard
nights
this
a
thing
week.
from a journalist who said, don't let the truth ruin a good story.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Sometimes
That's
it's something
what it is.
But that
always,
video, just to expand, that video resulted in Ivan making an amazing contact with this wonderful young man and he's now donating a truck a month.
Wow.
I mean, he's got two. Yeah, actually, one guy from Sweden, he saw that video, and
Ari?
then he considered Ari, and he considered doing that, like what Claire did. He flew into the UK. He bought a good Hilux. He brought it to us, and then we sent it to the war after refitting it, and then he did it again, and he's planning to do it again. So that media is powerful, and that's I think it's a good. That story that was told about your trip is just like laying down the whole thing, like you actually see it from A to Z, and that's what gives people a better understanding, and they can also relate it to themselves. So they also think of it like, okay, so I'd like to do something tangible, and I can afford it, and I've got some time. Maybe I'm not 70 years old, but yeah, I can do it as well.
Yeah.
Why not?
I should think so.
Yeah. Now I know a guy down the local pub called Twitchy Tony, and he can get you any car you want, no questions asked. Know what I mean?
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more.
It just scrape the numbers off the plate. Don't worry about it.
I hate to interrupt a good moment, but Jonathan's back rapping again, so we've got to get him speaking online, right? Let's ask him a curly question. How many times have you been to Ukraine, Jonathan?
Just the once. That was last year.
And where did you go?
I went to Lviv, so very vanilla in terms of putting yourself at risk there. I think it was relatively risk-free, but we had an event, a really good event in a bunker, so doubly secure there. But we had some great sort of Ukrainian speakers. We had John Sweeney, if anyone's out there has come across John Sweeney and even been out drinking with him and survived, then well done.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a ritual. You have to survive the Sweeney.
I survived the Sweeney. You've been Sweeneyed.
Yeah, I
but
have.
that's said, but we're hoping to do a lot more. We're hoping to do a lot more of that in the coming year. I've never been to Kiev. I have been all over Mordor, however, and that's anyone who watches the channel occasionally pick up on anecdotes. In fact, this hasn't gone live yet, but I did an episode, just recorded an episode with Anna Danilchuk, if everyone knows Anna from Ukraine, and we thought we'd make it a little bit sort of slightly more personal, slightly more interesting. And this is going to go out at Christmas Eve, and it's called Holidays in Mordor, and it's our sort of recollections of our experiences of the other place.
I am looking forward to seeing that.
Oh, wow. And Andrew, you've been
Traumaville, I think
multiple
you can
times.
safely describe it.
Yes, Claire?
Sorry, you've been multiple times to Ukraine, I think.
Yeah, the 5, and then it'll be my 6th time in May, I believe. We're going to be planning to go back to May, another convoy. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was. I figured I was going to go to Ukraine at some point. That's what everyone says, right? Like, we'll go there after the war. We'll go there when it's peaceful, whatever. And I truly like maybe, but I didn't have a set plan for it until the fundraising started. And they're like, hey, we need people to bring the trucks. I'm like, well, I was an 88 mic truck driver in the Army. That's what I did. I might as well go ahead and do it again here, but do it to Ukraine. And that's how it started. And they're just amazing. And then through that, I got to have great conversations with Philip Ittner and like John Sweeney and others. Just great experience with journalism too, because that's what I do. But I mean, I also got to use my military experience with driving in convoys, and then being in Ukraine is just such an experience itself too. It's like learning new things and new traditions and new culture, and it's just like super cool. Like, I mean, you can't really get other experiences like that, but the caveat is you're going to be getting drones and ballistic missiles, and you got to take cover and go into the shelter. But I mean, that's what it is. That's just the reality of what it's like being in Ukraine and being there. So yeah, it's just something that once you're brought in, it's hard to get brought out of it, for me at least. Like that's why I want to go back again for a 6th time, and do the whole 8-hour flight, and then the trains, and then the vehicle. It's like literally planes, trains, and automobiles to get to Ukraine, like all of it, because you can't just fly right in. So you got to fly into Eastern Europe, or you go to UK like others will, and then drive How do you drive it? How does the Cars for Ukraine convoy work from the UK? Do you get on a ferry? You get on a ship then?
It's the thing I wanted to ask you. How, like you said, you were coming and you were asked to bring a truck because they need a driver, and you're in the United States. So it's a weird thing that they asked you. Like, we need the truck to be brought. Where from America? No, from London?
It's Estonia. We fly into Tallinn, and then the NAFO's in Estonia. But also too with the YouTube channel, it's all transparency, right? Because I have a YouTube channel. I film the like your idea is for Philip Bittner to go to Lviv. Yeah. We did that in Tallinn, right? Me and Archer Ray and and others that have been on the specific convoy that go on it. Like we film the maintenance bay and we show the trucks being built, etc. And like the armor, and then we talk, and then we have like content before we even leave. And then I even streamed one of the convoys. It was very expensive because it's international cell data, but I mean, my YouTube channel can cover that. But I streamed from Estonia to the right before we got to the border crossing, and people were like super excited and they were involved in the whole process because we're protected there. But then obviously when I got closer to the border, I was like, hey guys, we gotta shut it down now, and I'll check in with you guys when I get to Kyiv. But at least in the
help Russians.
Yeah, exactly. But at least in like from Estonia to like Poland, that's fine, you know. And I got to be even more transparent with how that all works. But it was just go ahead.
So that's actually that the NAFO, they prepare trucks in Estonia and then you just drive them to Kyiv, and that's where you have this sort of official handover. Yep. Is that how it works?
Yeah. It's all pre-planned by Ragnar. They have like all the paperwork and the packets for every single truck, it's such an easy process to cross the border, and it can be stressful for sure. Like if you're crossing the border, it could take hours. You know, the Polish border guards can be crabby that day. You know, and then you get into Ukraine. Like then you get into Ukraine, and then you have like 18 pieces of paper to hand off to people and bureaucracy up the craziness. But then once you're in, it's like, it's super smooth, and then you go through Lviv, and then it's just amazing.
With us,
if you come to Rzeszów, the airport, you come to Rzeszów at all, and then you see the Patriots and stuff all on the runway, and
I haven't seen that.
It's just me, but just thinking these guys are in the wrong place. They're not doing any good there. You know, just move a bit further east. You know.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to put them there, use them.
Good point. It's a good point. Yeah, about your question, Andrew, with us, it's different because we do everything in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the points that Claire made about international aid, that you help the country by, I think that's what Claire said, international help 101, is that you try to accumulate all the sort of salaries inside the country. So then if there is a mechanic working on the car, it's a mechanic that is in Ukraine. So he's paid in Ukraine. So he spends money in Ukraine, going to grocery store, etc. I didn't even think about that. We just didn't have really, we are not from Estonia. We're not from Britain. We are from Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So we set it all up here, and Claire highlighted it. And then I thought of it like, okay, well, probably it's a good thing that we're here. But with us, I would say it's probably more flexible if you decide to do something like that, or if Jonathan decides to do something like that, because what you would do is you would basically bring one of the purchased trucks from the UK. Whenever you want to come, we'll just make sure we buy a suitable one. We prepare it for the 1,000 miles road, and then you just hop on it. You cross the channel on the ferry, and then you drive through Belgium, France, and Germany, Poland, and then we also prepare all those documents. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, it's not going to be a huge convoy. It will be either one truck or maybe a couple of trucks if we make a convoy, and then we actually start working on them in Ukraine, getting them ready. And I think it's a nice thing. Like I watch myself the videos that NAFO are doing when they send the convoys. With us, it's different. We don't really get soldiers to Lviv because it's far, and we don't really want to sort of intervene into their life, right? We just, they fight in a war, and we manage it that the truck from all the way from Britain gets to Donetsk region.
Right.
And they just make whatever content they can. And so it's different format because we come with a little different background, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing, right? They
exactly
provide they sort of provide transparency by talking to soldiers. I don't know how the hell they manage it. It's just logistics nightmare to put everyone at that time, to put so many trucks together. I mean, they do an amazing job, but just putting it all together.
It's a lot of work. They have Ragnar has so much help at Help 99 and so many people that volunteer to do it. But even like you mentioned, even soldiers coming to Kyiv is still logistics because they're in the front. And we actually did 2 convoys to Donbass. We went to Kramatorsk and then they went to, I didn't go on the first one. I went on the second one, but I got a little spicy. We can't do Donbass Express anymore because obviously we're civilians and I mean, I was fine. I had my press credential and stuff, but it's a little bit more spicier over there for obvious reasons than Kyiv. But Kyiv can still get spicy, just like yesterday. But you know, the logistics of the soldiers coming all the way from the front to back to Kyiv, and then they got to go back to the front. So that's even a logistical thing that they're trying to mitigate, even with NAFO stuff too. So I definitely understand. You know, soldiers coming back to Lviv. That's even more.
No, we don't want to. We find civilians and we just we put them on the cars and they go all the way to the soldiers where soldiers say it's convenient for them.
Exactly.
So we are very oriented around them. And then if we can generate nice content, we do. If not, you know, we just receive a bare minimum from them is a photo that, you know, here's a truck, we raced for it, here's a soldier. They took photo, they go to fight the war. To make a video report like the NAFO doing, I was thinking about that, and it's a nice thing, but it's just impossible considering where we are and considering that we have an active war, and we don't really make those convoys like once every 3 weeks or once every month. We just, the cars are ready, we send them. It's not that nice of a picture, but it is more practical at the end of the day, and that's it's ready, we send it.
I think it's cool too. I also think it's really cool that soldiers are aware of like the transparency. I believe at this point, they know that, you know, if they take a photo with the thing, they're going to likely get more of it. You know, they understand the given, at least from my experience with many units now, they understand that while it's might be cringe and annoying to have to do photos for Westerners, but they understand that this is how they get more. So I'm glad that at least that part is mitigated. But like you said, the logistics of bringing them off the front line is what has been worked on to try to mitigate that.
It becomes so absurd right now that you have to take a photo as a report for something that right now it's all like my mindset for whatever I do. If my parents send me, I don't know, a box of something, you know, my mom buys me the socks for Christmas, I gotta have make a photo and send back to her, like, received, I'm reporting to you. And then I'm like, why the hell I'm doing it? Like, I don't need to prove anything. Nice. It's just the whole mindset. Like, whatever I receive, like, take a photo and send it. And they're like,
I've also learned too, Ukrainian culture loves photos, like taking pictures as memories, and like that's one of the common things I've learned, even in Ukraine, and also Ukrainians here in my home state of Minnesota that have came from the war. Photos are
from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. I know some very interesting ways you can take photographs with socks, and I can guarantee your mum won't want any more photos from then on.
Oh.
I need that, but not for her.
No, don't talk about it.
What's the secret?
Funny. It's not out there online somewhere. It's going to frighten us one day, is it, Ivan?
Yeah. We are.
No, it's not.
We're creeping up.
Back then.
We're creeping up on our shutdown time. We're not too bad off yet, but getting there. So I want to catch up on a few super chat shout outs here, and then we're free and clear. So, you know, they exist came in with a $10 super chat. Gee, almost Christmas here. Will I get one of those Slavie gorgeous sailor hats with the big red kiss on it? A real Slavie kiss, not a Dawson molded chewing gum fake. We can tell the difference.
I can absolutely, if you want to donate, I can absolutely give that one out.
We there might be an idea in a little raffle action coming up on a few merch items or something, right? There's an idea there. Great idea. You know, they exist, and thank you. Johnny Nevergard came in with one as well here. Your money has to follow your heart. and it should follow your heart right into the pockets of the Ukrainians that need it. That's what I say. Good job, Johnny. And he comes in again with a second one. Shout out to Aziza Eskender. Oh, yes, indeed. That's a good one. Mertzi in the chat there. Special hello to all the hosts and mods. Yeah, big shout out to the mods, because around here the team do a lot for the channel. It's crazy. And then Darren Vaughn came in with one as well. It's Dunk, and well, more importantly, it's Slavie. Yeah, see, so merch ideas, Slavie. We'll have to see how there's an idea there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in.
Yeah, good call. Let's see here. There is one issue in the background I want to fix. I'll just do that for now. And okay. So yeah, we got 10-15 minutes here. Who wants to go? Oh, actually, there was a question here from Fragden Shinzo. I think that's right. A question for Ivan there. Have you guys ever been thinking of like foil or anything for the windows to keep them, more like a car's laminate front window versus a side window, right? I think this is what we're going at. And Commander McMillan in the chat had responded with a couple of things I'll throw in if need be as well here.
Yeah. You see, that's the thing with the experiments and with actual feedback from the versus the actual feedback from the front line. You can do whatever you have ideas about. You can experiment with it, and we did it at the very beginning. But then you just receive a feedback, what exactly we need. But I would say that's like with Henry Ford when he was asked, if he would ask customers what they want, they would say faster horses. Not a car. So here we could also go other way around. We could actually offer something and see how soldiers like it. And the thing is, what exactly it should be? Does it work? How much it costs? And where can we source it? If someone sends us an email and says, "Look, there is a solution that keeps all the pieces of the glass together. It doesn't turn into debris. This is what you need to do. Here's the link, whatever you can buy it on Amazon for, I don't know, $20. Or maybe someone comes and say, I can source you or donate this and this and this. This is how you use it, and this is what you can turn it to. Sure. So we don't really, if someone tells us, try that, we're like, oh, thanks. And we don't really do it. But if you actually want to be proactive, if you want, add up, you want to add value, come with a suggestion, but also come with maybe an instruction or some sample.
Yeah.
I can give you an address where you can
keep
whatever you have idea.
And this is not to diminish the clearly coming from a very constructive place.
Yeah.
But it's been my experience. Leave that to the soldiers.
Yeah.
They'll fix the little mod cons that they will do. They know what they need to do, and they have entirely the wherewithal to do it. So I'm not diminishing that. That
for sure.
Positive, constructive suggestion. But the soldiers are the Ukrainian armed forces are filled with guys that are ingenious.
We've got a very educated response to the question from Commander McMillan as well. And he said crosshatch masking tape is a very common, very easy and simple way to just do that. And then that way it doesn't have to be something that's a big done in advance. And then you have also got like the close weave wire mesh frame you can use, which is very popular. And that's U.S. Navy retired Commander McMillan. So, right, just for everybody in the chat, if you don't know him, It's got a bit of experience, but the masking tape, that's the kind of simple and easy solution that, right. So I could see that being effective. But good question for sure. There was another one here I do want to get to before I screw things up and forgetting. Let's see here. I should. Oh, somebody, Heinrich and Barty in the chat was saying, Seems like a really far drive, though. Is it cost effective compared to sourcing the trucks more locally?
Yeah, it is cheaper to buy them far because no one wants to buy them there, and buy them with a wheel on the right side, which is a wrong side for Europe, but it's a right side.
It's we've got this going on in Canada where Japan has like a strict cutoff date. This vehicle is no longer on our roads. We don't care anymore thing going on, it seems, because these right-hand drive vehicles from Japan are flooding over into Canada, and they're so cheap coming out of Japan that you can import them to Canada and get them on the road, and it's still a cheaper used vehicle than anything that was made to be sold in Canada in the first place.
Just in answer to that question about the cost, I mean, Car4Ukraine's delivering cars to the soldier at the cost of $10,000 or 10,000 euros per car. Any of these vehicles that are being equipped in Europe are costing now $20,000 to $24,000 or euros. So it's still way cheaper for us to be sourcing them in UK. But some of that price difference...
It's not that far. I mean, what's the petrol? The petrol's going to be a couple of $100, right? So it's not a big deal.
It's not U.S. gas prices.
I'm a Canadian who every few years drives across the country to the other ocean for a vacation and Christmas and stuff. So when somebody says that's far, I kind of go, what? Not really. I mean, but that's just because in Canada, there's a lot of far drives, and you're still in your own country, right?
Europe's really tight. It's really, everybody's so cheek and jowl. Yeah. But the other cost difference that comes into this is, of course, the difference in currencies, meaning that wages in Ukraine are so much cheaper than in Europe. And even though, somebody's on a good wage as a mechanic, he's costing something like a fifth the cost of a mechanic in Europe. So
good point.
There's multiple ways that the cost difference plays out, and that's why we're able to keep the prices so low, which to my point of view is, twice as many vehicles to the soldiers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, really quick, Dick, too, just a caveat before I forget on Philip's point. So for your last question about soldiers doing things to the trucks, they all have Rubbermaids like on the front lines. They all have like their little totes of like things they do to clean their weapons, to clean the vehicles, everything. So, and that's like every soldier has that. From what I've seen, they have these capabilities. So they'll fix if there's anything that needs like masking tape or duct tape on it or those types of things.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. What do we got here? Okay, yeah, we're coming up on roundtable wrap up time. We got a few minutes left. Let's do a little bit of update on numbers and whatnot here. So,
buy a truck today. Did we do it?
Well, the Shills account is now up to 2,000 and a bit euros. So that's definitely a jump from where we were before the show. To be honest, I didn't look first, so I don't really know where we were, but it's definitely a jump. And overall, let me just refresh that number. As you can see, it's about to hit 92,000 euro total. Look at that. It's really close.
God.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty close to one truck just from this live stream, right? Can we just do this every day?
Well,
I do.
Coming up very soon, the channel everybody's watching this on right now, on our channel, the Shills. This won't be the Shills channel anymore. It's going to be the Shills Ukraine channel. And we've got a couple of other shows being broke out other places. So there's going to be opportunity for more shows. I just have to convince my son not to get really pissed off at me for being a little bit busier, but it shouldn't be a problem, right? He's on the spectrum and all, but he's also 17 years old and literally does the, go away things quite often. Wouldn't you? So yeah, could be opportunity for more, and that's never a bad thing.
Dick, I have friends with an autistic daughter who's in her teens, and she has no problem with running around naked. And it's a challenge once you've got past that vital moment at about 13 when you've got your full development in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can only imagine, I can only imagine. Mine didn't take to that one, but it's one of those things. Absolutely. So anything anybody want to get to before we sign off and bid everybody adieu with huge thanks and all?
Yeah, I want to get to, look, we've got 91,000. Yesterday we had 82,000. If we get one more 1,000 going in today, we can claim we bought a truck today.
Oh, that would be super spectacular.
Somebody drop in 1,000.
Yeah.
Come on, Candy, get eating that horseradish.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe Dick will run longer if we get to that.
I might be able to run upstairs and just ask for permission for a little extra time. We'll have to see how this plays out here. When I ran away the last time, I did start a movie because he's got the ultimate teenager bedroom with all his kit in there, and that it could be possible. Let's see here. Yeah.
I think the only reason people are donating is they feel so sorry for Jonathan. He's got to wrap presents on screen and drive a 3-wheeled vehicle to Ukraine like Mr. Bean. He's just so hilarious. Can you get his goal?
It does, yeah. It does sound very Mr. Bean. If I do them all at the same time, trying to drive and rap and
Oh, you're streaming and rapping. Pretty multitasking there.
I'm gonna have to bounce right now, guys, because we've got an air raid siren coming in. So,
Oh wow. Okay.
this has been lovely, but this looks like a serious one. So I
Have
gotta
fun
bail.
at the Christmas tree.
Okay.
All right,
Stay
Phil,
away.
you be safe, buddy.
Yeah, I will. Cheers.
Talk
Take
soon.
care,
Talk
Phil.
soon.
Wow.
Oh shoot. Oh, did we just lose
Okay.
Claire there for a second? I think we did.
Oh. You Claire back.
The
lost
system. The system in the background just had a brain fart there for a second. I think it's all settling out. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There he is. He's looking
Okay.
out the window.
Yeah.
Have you got a air raid alert, Ivan?
Yeah, my eye opener in
Yeah.
Ukraine for the air alerts was staying in my apartment in Kyiv. Air alert went off. I started heading down, getting ready to go to the basement. Hear the booms, hear the car alarms going off. It's like, okay, down to the basement. Walking down, it's like, oh, great, and it's raining too. And then I realized that wasn't rain. That was the debris hitting the roof from the rocket.
Oh, wow.
It was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's an eye opener. So
Wow, that would
Yep.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're in your play, especially on like Rashadic, you can see the air defense and it's like you can see it through the computer screen. You can be here, like I'm in Minnesota right now, and we're in the comfort of our homes. But when you're there in Ukraine and there's no computer screen to protect you, it's like there's shit. I'm sorry, I don't want to swear. There's stuff coming to kill you. Yeah, it puts a new perspective on it, and it's like, okay, this is more than just me tracking the war on the internet now. Like I'm in this thing now, and yeah, it's a no nonsense situation for sure.
Mm. Yeah. Language. No fucking rules around here, dude.
Just want to be careful.
Yeah. No, we have the only rule here is be yourself.
True.
Yeah. We've noticed
think,
you do that with gay abandon.
Yeah. Absolutely. We don't mind, I mean, some people don't like to hear the odd bad word, and most people are, but for the most part, I mean, if every now and then one comes out, we're adults. It's an adult show. Like, you don't see many Disney characters. That's for a reason. So I imagine everybody's fine.
I try to save out my swear words for my own stream because then I just let it fly.
Oh,
So I try to keep them saved.
When we do our PubChat hangout show, literally as the intro rolls, YouTube sees it say PubChat and they just demonetize us before we speak, right? It's just how it works.
There
Just
is
swear in a different language. It always works, so you don't get unmonetized.
Shiza. I should have thought of that.
No,
Yeah.
the Ukrainian swear words are the ones to use because those don't get recognized at all.
Oh.
Yes.
see, I don't have to worry about that. I'm not monetized, so
Good point.
Yeah, we just choose not to worry about it.
So have we got
Sorry.
Ivan still on board? Because I can't see him in our main link, but
No?
I can see him on the live stream.
Here, let me just refresh his little connection. Did that help? Do you
Oh,
wait a second here?
can you hear
Maybe
me?
it'll kick in. Yeah, we hear you,
Yeah,
buddy.
we see you. We see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because I tried to make a comment a couple of times.
Can't
and
hear
you
him.
Just ignoring me, but apparently I was just not heard.
Well, here,
guess.
Claire's having an issue hearing you, it seems. So, Claire, just rejoin. Just refresh your browser page. It looks like something glitched out on you.
Okay.
Oh, I see. There was just an update I wanted to give after Claire mentioned. Can someone just put in 1,000 so we can have a car? We can claim one car. And actually, there's one guy, Sujak. I think I hope I
Sujak.
put your name right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's one of Mercado's viewers.
Oh, there we go.
And yeah, he
They
put
just did it.
€1,000.
Yeah.
They
I see. I'm
just did
seeing
it.
it. I'm seeing it.
Wow.
Jana, a truck
Before
today.
that,
Isn't that fabulous? Well
he
done,
actually
guys.
did.
Thank you so
There's-
much.
Stu Jack put in €1,000. I'm seeing it on my wall right now. Yep.
And he did actually 800 before that, but on a generic page, just like you don't see it on your page, but you see it as a total.
Oh wow.
And he put a comment that thank you, Car4ukraine, Mercado Media, Operator Starsky, Rick the Ukrainian, and all for your support. I think I don't see the end of the comment. Yeah, that's massive. But yeah, Sujak, one thing, just I don't know if you, I hope you hear me. I don't know if you missed it, but Kanti said that if he collects, I'm not trying to say anything specifically, but Kanti said that if he reaches 1,000, he's gonna eat that horseradish. So if that's something that you want to watch, you know what to do.
Is it horseradish time?
Canty,
Oh,
would you
Canty's got
please
the horse.
remove yourself to get a spoon?
he's got one. He's ready. He's got
Come
a
on,
spoon.
Katie, take one for the team.
Oh, Canty's got.
Should
There
give
we
him a
go.
choice.
Okay,
It
hold on,
should
Canty.
be
One
that
sec.
or,
One sec.
Food full of horseradish.
Okay.
He should
Oh,
have
yeah.
Um,
It's gonna be in your nose here soon. Roof of the mouth. Let's go, Stu Jack. Let's go, Canty.
So, proper amount.
Oh,
Oh my God.
I'm cringed.
But Kanti, we don't have 1,000 yet on your
No,
account.
Jason.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I don't care. We got 1,000 on the stream right now, so
Oh, there
I'll
we
go for it.
all right.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did it.
that's a regret.
Aw.
Yo.
I hope nobody's
Oh.
eating because this could come out.
Chat's like, Canty, no. It's too late.
This is not what I meant.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's rough. Do you have like a you can chase definitely. You just drink some water or something. Yeah. You did good.
His esophagus and colon must be made of steel because he's got balls of steel. So
Yo.
Ukrainian. Holy shit.
Oh.
Feels hot.
Oh, it's hot. Yep. Horseradish.
that's
Yep.
Thank you.
terrifying.
Oh.
What did you say?
Poor Canty. There you go. He's going through it.
Okay, I'm going to suffer for that one. Oh,
yeah, we're about to see the 7 stages of horseradish here.
oh.
I don't know about 7 stages. I know about 2. One
You're gonna answer.
Grief.
gets
Yeah,
a
Grief
Chad-
has definitely begun.
Yeah. Chat saying it's official. Canty is now Ukrainian.
the comments are freaking out. The comment section is freaking out.
Oh,
Is there another way to become Ukrainian? I mean, are there are multiple routes to this? I can go through them.
Jonathan, I agree there. Wow.
Oh,
Oh boy.
I'll eat a kilo of sala, you know, if that's in chocolate, if that's an
A
alternative
kilo of sala wouldn't be
variation.
too bad. That sounds like a good idea.
oh, and horseradish would be really good.
Oh yeah.
Together.
Dipping it or you putting a little horseradish morsel on the salo. I don't know about a whole spoonful though. That's tough.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Oh, my mouth is on fire.
okay.
I can breathe like no tomorrow, though. Oh gosh.
Oh,
Sinuses are open.
yeah, like never before.
Which I didn't say to do. We don't want a death on screen here or something, do we?
Nah, he's got it. He's in recovery mode now.
Oh,
The
Seems like
shock
he's
is
been
gone.
doing something like that before.
I don't
some
think
reason.
anything's going to taste the same for like the next 4 or 5 hours, but
Days. But yeah.
And chat's even saying that wasn't a little spoonful either. He put a mound on there.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
A lot.
yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Well done, Katie. Took it for the team.
make sure you clip that and share it on everybody else's
Yeah,
screen.
for sure. Need to.
Yes.
Horseradish in Ukraine is very spicy, guys. Very.
Yeah. Eh?
Yeah,
It's on another
I
level.
brought horseradish home from Ukraine and grew it in my garden.
Ah.
That was oh.
Ukrainian horseradish is on hardcore mode.
Oh, wow. Well, that was impressive. Well done.
Yeah.
And please wash it down. You can have a drink now, like for sure. You don't need to suffer with that.
Maybe something with
yeah.
lemon.
have a
you
drink.
know,
Oh, there you go.
sour cream.
Yeah, have a Pepsi Max.
That's some
0.
Oh, there you go.
You
let
can
me
now
see.
collect your passport.
You're official. Stamp.
Wash it down with a bit of
I already
sriracha.
have my tax ID number and temporary residency card, so I just need to get back there.
Yeah. Okay.
Where are you, Candy? Where are you?
Right now, I'm in South Dakota, but I'm working at buying a house in Chernihiv.
Oh,
Really?
Gosh. Good for you.
yeah.
You want to move like
That's what
permanently, or-
happens. West American goes there and you live there. That's what I've seen it so many times. Or Brit too. My friend Alex. He ended up.
It's so easy to fall in love with Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. I almost got talked into staying too. Like, you just get a place. Like, like stop it. I have to go back home. But then I stayed for like a month. Like, I was only going to stay for like another week, and then I was in Ukraine for an entire month.
Yeah.
And I was going to stay for more.
Yeah. I remember during that, I was like, did I lose the plot or has he moved?
I was supposed to come back the weekend, and then I'm like, okay, one more week, and then I'm like, oh well, chat just donated enough for me to stay for another 2 weeks, and then it was like another week after that.
Yeah.
And I turned 30 years old in Ukraine, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I'm here now. Might as well live here now.
Yeah. That was cool though, because there was Good Morning Ukraine come out of it, and a bunch of there was some people were loving the fact you were there, right? Because you were really bringing the content.
Trying to, because no one else really. I mean, at the time, it was like 2023. It was kind of like a time for that, to be honest. Like, there wasn't a lot of attention. Like, it's tough even nowadays that it doesn't really make the mainstream news as much as it should. Like yesterday, for example, like that might have made the news. Maybe I talked about it on my stream, but like that's what we are for. But like mainstream news, I don't really know if they're covering it like they were in 2022, for example.
Right.
Where it was like everything, like every little thing that happened in Ukraine was getting reported, and now it's like maybe every couple days you'll get a big report. But that's why people like Jonathan's channel, your channel at the Shills, the work with the Car4ukraine, Slavie's channel, and the work on our social media, that's very important.
Yeah, man. Good words.
And I saw from the stream that the Jays did yesterday with, not yesterday, my time it is, with Georgie, while Georgie was walking through Copenhagen, which was pretty extraordinary live stream. But Georgie's so super smart, he held it together while he was shopping. Unlike Jonathan, who's too busy rapping to talk. But Jonathan did say that he's giving up his main job to now do reporting for Ukraine full time, which I found really extraordinary. And I wondered how many of you are doing this full time and this is your main job.
It's one of those things where I think there's more than a few who have, like, you got Rick, Andrew, right? Many.
Yeah, I get to do it. I get to do this full time. It's a blessing. Community building is a huge part of it, right? Because you got to build a foundation. If you don't have a foundation or community, it's hard to keep it going. It just is. No matter how viral you go, if you don't actually like put back into what you built, it's hard to sustain. And I learned that quick in 2020 when the riots were happening, and that's when I started doing all this. Like, oh well, I have all these people following me now. I don't want to lose them, so I started building a group on Facebook, and then now I have a YouTube channel and Discord. So it's important to, if you're going to try to do this full time, you got to build the community and have a community to support you. Otherwise, it's tough. It is.
Yeah.
It just you're gonna have to, which is fine. It's cool to do YouTube and work a second job or work a full-time job and do YouTube on the side. Like that's still awesome. And I actually had to do that for a little bit. I worked at a gas station because I was like, what's the easiest job I can learn in a day or something? And that's what that was easy. I was a manager by like day 3 because it's just for me, it's just not a difficult task of work, but that's what I did. And now I get to do it full time and it's just really awesome. And I'm blessed.
Yeah. Well, I must say I was pottering along with my life before this Christmas tree and suddenly got an invitation on Facebook to join this Andrew Mercado Renegades group. And I thought, I was aware of Andrew and his work, but I didn't know what I was quite getting into with the Renegades group. But I think it's slightly a reaction to the MAGA thing, and
it started.
So this isn't my world at all. But certainly the support of Ukraine has taken over my time. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
this has become my main activity every day.
The Renegades thing started with my baseball team. That was our team name in baseball. We won state Minnesota because we were actually, so how it is, we were like a bunch of recreational baseball players. And in the United States, you have guys that play traveling baseball and they're in a system and they're like chosen ones. And that's how it is for all sports in the US. And then there's the recreational teams, right? Where it's like basically like the public option and you're just out there to play, whatever. But we built like a stacked recreational team. Like all of us had played rec baseball, but we had the best players on our team and we beat these traveling teams that were like system teams and like big farm teams. We beat them and won state. And that was our team name was the Renegades because we were like the underdog going against all these big teams and we won. So I was like, that was years ago. That was like 2011. And then now I'm like, well, what can I name my community? Because I've had a few different names for them already for these past couple of years, but now we're rock solid on the Renegades because I feel like we're going against the grain. A lot of people in the United States, unfortunately, support Russia for whatever dumb reason. Many people don't, but like a lot of the mainstream platforms and podcasters all are like sympathetic to Russia for some reason. So I feel like we're taking a position like the Renegades, like you're going against the grain with that, but also like you mentioned, U.S. politics, but that's a whole other problem. But for reasons that you're aware of, yes. Kind of going against what we're going to have coming here in the U.S. very soon.
So right-wing media, like it pays.
Yeah, it does. You know what I mean. Yeah, if you go right wing in the U.S., it's a gravy train. It really is.
Don't
do it. Yeah, don't do it. Don't. It's like the dark side in the Star Wars, right? Don't go to the dark side.
Yeah, for all the love in the universe, please don't do it.
It's literally like selling yourself out, basically.
Yeah. Considering it, I am.
But talking about sport, Andrew obviously had a sporty background, but the rest of us sitting around doing all this computer work become couch potatoes in the meantime. Ivan had to put out a huge course for a kind of awareness building, bring in volunteers to the army, put out the Cordon course. Do you want to tell us about that, Ivan? Because Ivan actually did it he's been doing this every year for 3 years. And then this year he did the course. And so I'm glad to get Ivan fitter. You
mean the community part of that?
Well, just explain what it's Cordon, right? It's a border. It's meant to be a border course that you're running the border or something. But it's one of those military courses with big ramps that you have to get up, ropes and crawl on your belly underneath the bars. And so just tell us about that day because it's really interesting. People aren't aware.
It's an event I help to organize with, like we have different type of forces. Like there are some ground forces, there are those who fly in helicopters or some others. And one of them is the border guards, who were, before the full-scale invasion, they were just basically putting the stamps on the border. But now they have been exchanged with, they've been rotated with the soldiers who are actually fighting the war, with those who put in the stamps when Andrew Mercado is entering Ukraine. And then, another month, he goes to the front line. So for those guys, we organize 4 events every year. So they and those who are being rotated, those who want to have a little bit of normalities, those who've been injured, so people without legs, without arms, they can actually participate. And it's called Cordon Race. Cordon is the word for border in Ukrainian. And it sounds sort of okay in English and Ukrainian. And people can challenge themselves. And the Cordon Race is like border race. So try to, overcome difficulties. A lot of injured guys participate. And it's a challenge for them because you have to go through different obstacles. And for the first time, I participated myself because before that, I was doing more PR stuff for that event. But now I participated with it, and it helps soldiers to feel normal again and have some fun and also participate. One unit versus another unit. This time was area alert, but it just postponed the event. It didn't cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. Yeah.
I still need to come back for the Spartan race because I was there in Kyiv at I think it was at the end of July because I celebrated my birthday last year and then I stayed like for weeks. But they had the big Spartan race in Kyiv at the Village Museum that me and Phil went to and did a report there and talked about it. It's really cool. It's like one of the coolest open air museums because it's like old Kyiv village basically. I forgot what it's called, Slavie or. Ivan can remember in Kyiv. It's that village museum. Yes, it's so cool, and you can see the windmills. The windmills and everything are there still. It's literally like if you were dropped into old Ukraine. Like everything is so cool.
18th and 19th century.
Yes.
It's
so cool.
Actually had a conversation today. I had a meeting with like the whole board of directors, let's say, of this event. And they were talking about this event, this particular one. They're talking the Spartan event that was in Kyiv in this museum, and there's a very similar one in Lviv.
Oh, really?
But for like western part of Ukraine. And we were like, should we make an event there? But they are a little bit more old school-ish about using that territory. And they're like, are you gonna run through museum? We're like, no, I'm just gonna run. We're gonna dig holes and dive into things. And they were like, no. We don't do it here.
It was such a cool dichotomy because in one section of this museum, they're training they have the drones in the sky and they're training. And then the other part is they're running this whole thing. But yeah, it's obstacle courses, big. And I've done one. I did one when I was in Alaska. It was the Tough Mudder. I don't think it wasn't the Spartan Run. It was the Tough Mudder in Alaska. And it's tough. It's not easy. It's a big obstacle course and you're running like miles also because you're running the whole thing. Big pools of water. You got mud, all of it. It looks really cool. But yeah, I promised my friend Maria that I'd go back to Kyiv to do the Spartan race one year. And I will.
Cool.
You can do Cordon Race. It's closer. It's the same. Like to be honest, the guy, the ideological leader of Cordon Race, he's the colonel in the Ukrainian army, and he gets a lot of inspiration from Spartan. So it's like. Spartan is huge. It's an international thing, and Cordon Race it's a local initiative by one person.
Okay,
and now it's becoming bigger.
Oh, that's cool.
And,
yeah.
So it's a thing. If you're around, I could definitely sign you in, and we could claim it's an international event now because people from different countries.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's definitely a space for getting the two Jonathans to do one of these.
That's what I was going to say. Jonathan Fink, we need to see you do a Spartan race. Are you ready for that?
If you want to finish us both off, I mean, are you working for the other side is the question that comes to mind immediately.
Yeah, we don't want to take the Jonathans out of commission for their YouTube amazingness.
Well, no, we killed a whole Canty.
Canty went out from the yeah.
And this is every time I have another burger or giant kebab or something. I think like I'm putting the information more at risk here. And fewer donuts, definitely no marathons.
Oh, that's funny.
But one side note here, guys. One side note that before the stream started, we had 900 something people who donated, and by now we actually surpassed 1,000 donations mark.
Oh, nice.
More than 1,000 donations have been made. I wonder if we're going to reach 100,000 euro today.
Oh, wow.
7,000 more.
Cool.
Actually,
Come on,
just
guys. What are we up to?
And then it would be 100. Maybe we should put it as a goal, and we don't leave before we reach it.
Yeah, nobody's allowed to keep this screen.
We should do something. We should do something with Jonathan here that's a little bit more up his alley. So what we could do is Jonathan will do a 5-kilometer marathon, but it'll be on a mobility scooter while eating donuts. Right?
I would watch that. I'd watch that. I'd actually watch it.
Now we do the whole pack on a table.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, I did. That's without beer. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I think we should just put.
But it's a good
need a
trick.
challenge for Andrew for Christmas, like 1,000 push-ups or something like that. I mean, he's young and fit. We could really put him through the ringer here.
I tell you what, for
Jesus.
$1,000, I'll tell you a really dirty joke about donuts.
Okay, we're waiting for 1,000.
How about $1,000 not to?
No, it's 2,000.
No, 2,000 is on the line. So someone donates for the joke, and then someone donates for you to stop.
Yeah.
Joke.
This is it. $5,000 stops you from acting it out.
Yeah, I want to see Jonathan Fink do an obstacle course in that 3-wheeled car and just have him whip it around this vehicle course. Like, have him drift in it and everything.
There's so much stuff we could do with this. Like, get it to Kiev. How many Klitschko's can you fit in a Robin Reliant? That would make the world's press.
Are you going to put stabilizers on the front of the car like Clarkson did for that one episode of Top Gear?
Do that.
It almost killed me. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. Okay, we are getting close in our time limit here now. So, and I don't know if anybody noticed, but Canty switched his camera there quick, and what you're seeing now is the hand puppet version of Canty. He's actually laying on the floor in convulsions, trying to control it right now. Is
trying to hold in the.
I'm just trying to cool down my tongue.
Yeah, it looks like I see you doing techniques there, trying to.
Yeah,
this one where that one works.
So you guys are sitting there talking about doing 5Ks and stuff like that, and it's like, wait a minute. I'm sitting here pedaling right now.
Okay, do you want a bad joke, military joke from Grandma, the cat herder come den mother?
All right.
So the joke goes that there's a Russian on one side of the river and there's a Ukrainian on the other side. And the Ukrainian decides to try to make friends with the Russian on the other side. And he decides that the only way this is possible is by communication, right? So he pops up out of his foxhole and he says, what's your background? Are you in the Navy? Are you a swimmer? And the Russian ducks his head down really quickly, goes, oh! And the Ukrainian goes, well, that didn't work. He couldn't be in the Navy. So he goes, okay, are you a grunter? Are you in the army? Do you grunt? Are you a grunt fighter? And the Russian ducks his head down really quickly. And so the Ukrainian says, well, you must be in observation. You must be an observer. And the Russian screams and runs away back to his unit and says, help me, there's this giant Ukrainian on the other side of the river. He's going to swim the river. He's going to swim the river and bonk me till my eyes pop out.
If you want to make it really rude, replace the word bonk with teabag. But yeah.
You've probably heard that before.
I can think of another word.
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, well, Dunk and I are known for finding the gutter in every joke and getting it there. Yeah.
Well, it is the Shills, so you have to go bad.
Yeah.
That often might get more of them to surrender. Who knows,
Yeah. Exactly. Well, well done, everybody. What a productive day.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Let's see here. Let me go over to the grand total and give it a refresh. Let's go around the room and we'll get everybody to give us just a little bit of a goodbye moment or something. Canty, you're going to be too funny. We'll save you till near the end. Let's start with Dunk. What do you think, buddy? What's going on?
Oh, I like that. Canty's going to be funny, so we'll leave him to the end. So let's go straight.
He just walked down on the horseradish.
Yeah,
Come on.
No, come on. You're setting a level now. You just put me down. Oh my God. Right. Okay. I'll say good night to everybody. I'm sorry I was so late. Life and family and all that kind of stuff. And well, don't forget. Normally on the Shills, we start at the gutter and try to climb our way out, but. You all seem to be really, really civil here, so sod me. Don't forget, we got a Ukraine update tomorrow. The shows are all being flipped around a little bit. We also have a pub chat later, and I believe we have a guest coming on for that. So don't forget to hit like on the way out. You better do that because I'm going to do that right now. So you just do the bloody same, all right? And don't forget to share us out. Share us out on social media. Share us out all around the world. Share us wherever you can. Make the Shills as important as it should be. Well, as we think it is, or something like that.
As important as changing your knickers.
What's knickers?
I don't know. Snickers. It's a bar we eat in Canada. Anyway. Slavie, what do you think? You're up next year.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone who donated for Cars for Ukraine. You guys are awesome rock stars. It's so important to do it. If you can't donate, share links because you never know who that might want to donate. So sharing is a big thing. New video coming out, news updates on Monday because I think we have Ukraine update live stream tomorrow. So yeah, don't forget to tune in and Slava Ukraini.
Heroam Slava. Good stuff. Let's see here. We'll go with Andrew Mercado. What do you think, bud?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on. It was an absolute blast to be a part of the stream, as always. Thank you again to the Shills. Shout out to everyone that tuned in and donated. But also, I'd like to big shout out to my community because we started at like 11,000 euro before this stream, and now we're at 14,261. So we got like 20 some donations during this stream, and just really credit to again Nancy with 125 euro, John with 110 US dollars from MOB Corleone. Again, you guys shouted out Sujak with that 1,000 euro that had Canty have some horseradish there. Catriona with a 10, Linda with the 53, Keith said stop the orcs with 83 euro, Susan Berry 20, a little something from Blonde Bombsheller and Kids, Rizom de Paramorje. Sean, thank you so much for the 21 euro. Marta Harris sent 500 Canadian. Slava Ukraini, thank you, Andrew, for all you do. Scott with 50 euro. Brian, Bev, Nell, Jesse, Michael, Brian, thank you to everybody, and I'll thank you on. And again, if you guys are interested on Mercado Media, after this amazing discussion and roundtable, we're going to be covering the news for an hour or two. If you guys are interested on Mercado Media, so we'll go through what happened in Ukraine today and the numbers and the map right after this discussion. Thank you so much, Dick.
Awesome. Yeah, and you're right in the live chat. Chris Lundy just popped a link to Mercado Media, Andrew's channel there. So, get over there, get it done, everybody. Awesome to have you over again, Andrew. Awesome. Let's go right up on the hive there. Jonathan, what do you think there, Jonathan?
This is lots of fun. I mean, it's weird that 3 years in, we're all getting together like this. I mean, it just sort of lessened to me. We should do more of this. It was great live streaming. I also realized this week I can put the usual, boring videos out and do live streams at the same time, and YouTube doesn't seem to mind that. So, I think we're going to do a lot more of these, make them at least a weekly feature. And we're going to tie fundraising into every one of those. So again, changing the tempo, changing the format. I think it's super important for the year up. And I'd love to do more stuff with all of you guys.
Love to have more stuff done with you as well. Awesome.
Us too.
And the thing is, I do all these interviews and they're great, but I can't swear. And then every time I say something vaguely naughty, oh, look at that. Oh my God. Yeah, if only. Yeah, that's not entirely me. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Normally, PubChat. That's more of those.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta just relax about it all. Don't sweat the details and just let it unfold, right?
That's it.
So
That's it.
let's see here.
I need to learn to pronounce the dul mayobo, or what was the phrase that Zelensky used this week? What was that phrase? I gotta learn how to pronounce that.
Dob mayob.
Dob mayob. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that thing is not going to be blocked. It's a different language, and you didn't say it right anyway.
We get in trouble all the time, so why not? Who cares? Yeah. So let's go up.
Tired, right?
Ivan.
We've used that out.
Yeah. Okay, so here, let's switch it over. Ivan, Yvonne there. Your turn there. What do you think?
Yeah, just as Slavie said, I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to the cause, because you see all of the videos, you see the people whom we all help to help. And I love the saying that it's not us who need the trucks, or it's not us who need who need help. It's not the soldiers who need help. It's us who need soldiers to have the trucks.
Yeah.
So that's why we try to link that. And just as a reminder, if you contributed, €100 more, don't forget to claim those little pins. It's either this pickup truck or this drone. And actually, I realized I didn't show this little cutie. Look at that. Okay, that's my favorite, actually. So yeah, if you contributed on the donor box page, you can see the link to fill out the form. And we will be happy to give something back to you for your generosity.
Awesome.
So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Claire, what do you think?
Well, what a productive day. Extraordinary to have bought a truck just sitting here on our bottoms talking. And it's all about the soldiers. But I'd also like to shout out a little bit about these information warrior group that have come together for this. I mean, it's really important to get the information story out there and to fight the propaganda. And in our group, we've got ATP Geopolitics, War Translated, who's only on X, that's Dimitri, Andrew Mercado. We've also got Sukumimus. Now, he's a strange case because he comes from the background of being a fossil hunter. And he actually, I don't know if any of you have watched any of his YouTubes, but he breaks down the war map and what's happened today, or an individual event, as though he's dissecting a fossil bone out of a rock.
Yeah.
And it's really an in-depth investigation of geolocating this thing and breaking it down and finding out what's actually happened in this one event. And his audience love him, and he's fantastic. And then we've got, of course, Silicon Curtain, the master there of present wrapping, and Rick the Ukrainian, who we all know and love.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the wonderful Shills. Where would we be without the Shills for fun and games while we're also working incredibly hard? And we've got Johnny FD, who a lot of people know from YouTube, who's on holiday. He's been living, I think, in Ukraine, but at the moment is in Thailand raising funds for trucks. And then we've got Candy, who's just coming in as a beginner and said, how do I know how many funds I can raise till I try? And that's the sort of attitude you need. And then we've got Philip Ittner, who's still on his trainer wheels, but a master communicator, right? Fundraising, trainer wheels, master communicator, many years experience of war journalism.
Yeah.
So good for him and good for all of you. Yeah, lovely group.
Very well said. A couple of shout outs here quick at the end. Cinnamon in the chat there for the boom boom fun. But of course, thanks to everyone who's been helping and contributing and kicking in. Good words there, Cinnamon. Well said indeed. Flip over to the super chat section here. We got Darren Vaughn in a couple of times here. So I'm going to put them into one because I think in one he just didn't have the typing going on. It kind of messed with him. But Dunk, he's asking for a little baby Starsky on the avatar before we're gone. Can that be switched?
Oh, the ghost of Starsky passed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
I
Oh my
just thought I'd come
God.
into this house and poop on the floor.
What is that? No.
How do you do that?
What the heck?
It's this strange animated weird AI baby Starsky here. Flip over to the stream feed here, and I'll play you the little. This is the stinger we used to do when we'd get Starsky to tell a story from when he was young. You'll love this. Here. Oh, it's not playing the audio. That's some creepy ass shit, man.
Like Starsky, but if he was born a grandpa, you know, what's that movie that
Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Benjamin Button.
I'll never be able to look at him. I'll never be able to look at him the same again. All I'll see.
Oh, my favorite from the shows was Operator Sharksky.
Yeah. I don't know why you guys on the show with me aren't hearing the audio, but here I'll play you the Shark Week, the Sharksky one as well here. Yeah. Well, everybody on the show can hear it, but you know.
There he is.
Yeah. Just some stuff when we're having fun with Starsky and, you know, getting him to tell you things from his past and whatnot. I got one last shout out here I got to do. We got Ozzy T in the chat. Slavie 93 needs to 1,000.
Subscribers. Yes.
Oh,
Oh, well done.
all right.
Go.
Yes.
1,000
Well-
subs.
Awesome. We'll get the link in the chat for everybody there. So a couple of thank yous I want to do. One here, first off, is to our team here at the Shills. Annette, Shayna Caldwell, Chris Lundy, and Super Chat Matt are on the working for the channel today on the team. Our team goes above and beyond the call of duty to do what really needs to be done to make things function around here. So let's see some hearts in the live chat for the mod team, because they are just vital to operations around here. And then, like Dunk said, like, share, and subscribe. Check us out for the rest of the weekend. There's more stuff coming up, more fundraising for Car4ukraine. We got our Ukraine show tomorrow. There's going to be a drunken silly hangout. It could be tonight, could be tomorrow night. Heck, maybe we'll do 2. I don't know. You got to subscribe so you know what's going on. The biggest thanks of the day goes to all of you who support all of these channels in our fundraising efforts for Ukraine. Without you guys, we're just a bunch of clusterfuck blabbermouths and it doesn't do anything. But because you guys take the time to actually watch and listen to us, in our case, I'm not sure why, but we can help. So you guys are the glue that actually makes this work. So give yourself a pat in the back as you get up to get another beer. And we're going to kick the credits into gear here and bid you all adieu for now.
Just say you guys are the glue and I'll sniff you.
I'm putting you in a baggie for later, everybody. Let's get out of here.
Just before we go, can we find out how many presents Jonathan wrapped?
Yo, good one.
Yeah, well, how many did you get?
That's a real summary.
That's a
Everyone
prize for those.
cares about.
How many, Jonathan? How many did you wrap?
We should make it into a prize, you know. I mean,
A guessing game.
oh, that's
Guessing
it. 2, 4, 6, 8. God, it's more than 10. Let's say it's at least.
I would have maybe gotten like half of one present. wrapped.
$10,000. It's a truck.
Leave a comment after the stream on how many presents you think he wrapped, and the winner will receive something that I'm sure you didn't really want in the first place. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Good night, everybody.
All right,
Thanks for
good night,
joining
Dick.
us.
Thank you.
See y'all soon.
Thank
Slavie
you.
Ukraine.
Rozum.
Take care.
Boom.
It's over. Go home. Go.